All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Spoken Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
What's good?
Episode 322 is in full swing, full motion. We're so happy to be here with you and for you to be here with us. Whether you were live streaming, podcasting, or YouTube, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this time because we have an awesome show for you guys because we are previewing football. Kind of.
Almost there.
It's preseason football, so it's not really the thing. You know, we can talk about it, and it's gonna be fun and everything. But let's be real, guys. This is kind of like when your parents make you eat the gristle after you already ate all the good stuff on the steak. Or maybe that was just my traumatic experience that I had to deal with as a kid. But the gristle sucks. This is the gristle, but we're gonna get through the gristle and get to the meat. We're gonna get to the good stuff, guys. I promise you that, because before you know it, we're gonna be talking about regular season football. And as always, the season will fly by, and then we'll be sad, and then we'll be here again in the off season, ready for the next season, and the whole cycle just repeats. But in the meantime, as we're in this current time and place, again, thank you guys for being here with us. If you've not already done it, I'd tell you the top, I'd tell you the bottom of every single show. Go to YouTube, go to the Spoken Podcast, hit subscribe, notify, share, like, all the cool buttons. They're all there for you. I think YouTube did it on purpose, so everybody that has a button fetish can have buttons. And you got buttons there. But there's a button we need you to push the most, and I know that sounds exciting to you because that means there's another button you can push. It is the comment button. We need you guys to get in the chat today, man, because this is what we do every single week. We are a community-driven show, man. We won't want to talk at you. We want to talk with you. It is a conversation that we have here every single weekend, and we love it every single time when you guys join in. We got all the regulars. I mean, hell, we had our guy Ruben De La Cruz in the comments before the show even started. That is the way I like to see it, man.
Per usual,
man. Him, Dustin, Julia Gulia, all the regulars, man. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We want you to become a regular. Come hang out with us every single week where everybody knows your name, man. Get in the comments. I mean, there's chats going on amongst yourselves, man. Even when Trevor and I are having a discussion on the show, it's a beautiful thing we got going here, man. We want you to be a part of it, and it all starts up on the YouTube side of things, so we very much appreciate it. We're trying to grow our brand on the YouTube side as well. I apologize for that little cough up, but at least you can hear it this time, because I was having mic issues last week, and it was driving me absolutely insane. And from the comments I was getting from you guys, the feedback I was getting from you guys, it was doing the same for you. So let's hope that doesn't happen this week, because there's literally nothing that I could find this whole week that was causing that issue. I just think that there was some serious blockage going on, and that blockage has since been cleared. So, Trevor, how you doing this week, man? How's everything going for you, man? Are you ready for one step closer to the NFL season beginning?
Cannot wait, bro. I know we get a little teaser at 7 o'clock tonight against the Cardinals. See who actually plays and see who we're looking at. I'm hoping to see a little bit of Jalen Royals and things like that to look forward to. But other than that, man, this week's been pretty good. It flew by. The summer's been flying by. It's been hot as hell out here in KC. But other than that, other than my allergies kicking my ass, looking forward to some ball, bro.
Same.
We've been getting the itch and getting the tingles in all the important places. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Other than that, bro, yeah, I'm ready to chop it up, talk some ball, ready to watch some ball tonight. So
well, before we get into what you guys know we do when we start off every single show, before we do that, I do want to send out a special shout out to the one and only, a dear friend of ours, dare I say, a family member of ours here at the Spoken Podcast, Mr. Patrick Mahomes Sr. It is his birthday today.
Soaky Pete.
Talked to him this morning. He's flying in to watch the game against the Cardinals. And him and his beautiful wife, Trisha, are flying together. So I just wanted to send out a shout-out to our guy, Pat Mahomes Sr., Trisha as well. You guys are awesome people. I'm so happy and so lucky and so fortunate to consider you guys family and friends, man. So I want to say that. Shout out to you, Pat, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope this season's great for you as well, brother, and I'm so proud of you for everything that you've overcome and accomplished, man. So I just wanted to put that out there. And if you guys know Pat, if you guys are friends with him on social media, hit him up, man. I know that he'd appreciate it, and he's a very interactive and very very down-to-earth human being, man. He will definitely hit you guys up and say thanks. So definitely do that. And like I said, he's got a great family, and everything that we have here in Kansas City is pretty much owed to the Mahomes family at this point. So we very much appreciate this marriage happening, dude, in Kansas City, because we've waited our entire lives for something this great. And so it doesn't happen if Pat Mahomes Sr. wasn't the great player that he was in his own time, handed down the genes, if you will, to Mr. Patrick Mahomes. So without further ado, it is time for Lance Rants. So we're going to get to what Trevor and I are going to be looking at when it comes to this preseason game with the Chiefs and Cardinals. Even though you guys know that I am not a fan at all of preseason football, I would very much just rather skip through it, and we're going to talk more about that in a second. There are things that I just can't ignore sometimes, Trevor, when it comes to the way things are viewed and discussed on the national level of things when it comes to this Chiefs team, because as time is going on, you would think that the respect level and the reverence of a team that's done what the Chiefs have done, which, by the way, is something that pretty much no other team in the history of the NFL has ever done, you would think that respect, reverence would be on an upward trajectory. Unfortunately, that's not the case here, and some of the most credible and respected voices in all of sports media are the ones that are unfortunately leading that way, that are leading that narrative. And you guys know I have an affinity for a few people in the sports media landscape. The first that comes off to mind is Nick Wright. He's a guy here from Kansas City. I've met and known Nick Wright for a very long time. He was actually the guy that got me inspired to do what we're doing right at this very second. I remember meeting him 15, 20 years ago, and it was at a Village West liquor store over here at the Legends. And I remember him being on remote, and he was out there, and I remember listening to his show every single day, and I was like, man, this is a guy, I need to go meet him. And I walk in, and literally no one's there. It's just him and his producer and the guy at the register, and I'm just kind of standing there awkwardly, and he's doing his show, and he goes to break, and I just walk right up to him, and I asked him, I basically told him, I want to do what you do. He told me start a podcast, get your voice out there and see where it goes. And that's what I did, man. And so Nick is always the one that comes to mind first. I owe him such a debt of gratitude, and I appreciate everything that he instilled into me, and see how great and how far his career has gone to this point. And dude's, I think, just now turning 40. So he's got a great track ahead of him, man, and a great runway ahead of him. I'm proud of as hell for that dude, and represents Kansas City the way he does. And then there's Colin Cowherd, a guy that, for the last 20 plus years, I've been listening to at the national level. Somebody that it's always been so thought-provoking, a guy that makes you think. And that's something I always love in sports analysts, is they don't go with what's trendy oftentimes. More times than not, they kind of push back on the narrative, and they give you reasons why. Or at least they explain why they stand where they stand on things. That's always been a big thing to me. I don't like when people bring a take up and then they don't back it up with something. They don't give you any substance. They just say things, and it becomes clickbaity. It becomes hot take-ish. It's just not something that I can respect, because it's not something that I can actually ponder on. That's something I've always adored about Colin Cowherd's brand and style and delivery, is that he always gives you a reason as to why he believes what he believes. And that is why I've always respected Colin, even to this very second. But Colin Cowherd did something this week that goes against everything that he stands for and everything that he's built over the last 30-ish years of being a sports analyst. And that is, he gives a stance on the Kansas City Chiefs, tries to give reason, but the reason falls flat. And this is the first part of the Colin Cowherd explanation as to why the Chiefs dynasty is over.
I do not think I think Kansas City, the dynasty part is over. They may win a Super Bowl, but I think their division's too good to be a dynasty. And I'll give you an example.
So they could still win the Super Bowl, which would be the Chiefs' fourth Super Bowl victory in a 7-year span, but the dynasty would be over? Oh, well, the division is too good. I mean, Trevor, that's all we're hearing, right? This division. This fucking division, dude. I mean, insane.
The Chargers, bro. Look out. Every offseason.
It's the same thing that we've been hearing, in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. I mean, is that not what we've been hearing for the last 4 or 5 years now? Colin says he has an example, though. And this is, again, what I've been saying about, at least he explains and gives sound reasoning. Even if you disagree with him, he'll give you sound reasoning as to why he feels and believes what he feels and believes. So I'm sure he's got some relative and relevant evidence to back this claim. Let's go ahead and let Colin finish his take.
When Nick Saban was at Alabama, LSU couldn't get the right coach. Auburn couldn't get the right coach. Ole Miss couldn't get the right coach for most of it. Tennessee couldn't get the right coach. And he dominated. But then Georgia got Kirby Smart. And then Texas came in with Sark. And Nick Saban didn't look as dominating. Same thing happened to Urban at Florida when Nick Saban came in. Yeah, Urban Meyer was dominating. And then Nick Saban went to a great program, and then Urban wasn't dominating. And if you look at LeBron's dominance for 8, 9, 10 years in the Eastern Conference, he had to beat the Raptors and the Pacers. He would go into the other conference, he didn't have the same luck when you're facing the Warriors, right?
Kirby Smart became the Georgia Bulldogs head coach in 2016. From 2016 to when he retired in 2023, Nick Saban led the Alabama Crimson Tide to a 101-11 record. Went 4-1 against Kirby, and went ahead and won 2 national championships. Then he moved on to talk about LeBron and how LeBron only had to beat the Raptors and Pacers when he was dominating the East. Here are the teams that LeBron beat in the Eastern Conference Finals during that 8-year run of finals appearances. The Bulls, Celtics, Pacers, Hawks, Raptors, Celtics. That's odd. The team that LeBron faced the most and beat the most in the Eastern Conference Finals is the team Colin failed to mention. Maybe it's due to the fact that the Celtics had several Hall of Fame players on their team, and that would have ruined that narrative about how easy the run was. I don't know. Either way, this inter-sport comparison, like always, falls flat on the face out the gate. Especially when Colin tries them for size. Here is the third final piece of Colin's take on why the Chiefs dynasty is over.
The Colts used to be in the Patriots division, then they left. And, he got home field advantage almost every year. Anytime he had to go to Denver, he would lose. He would struggle in Denver. Brady, the greatest ever. Denver. It wasn't the same. But because the Jets and the Dolphins and the Bills for most of his stay were inept, Brady he'd go 5-1 in division or 6-0. And so Brady gets home field in cold weather, huge advantage, with the best defensive coach of all time. All he had to do is win a couple of playoff games because they get a bye. Okay, so you tell me, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick with an extra week to prepare at home in Foxborough in their prime. Yeah, it's an advantage. They lost to the Giants twice in Super Bowl. They lost to Philadelphia in a Super Bowl. They weren't nearly as invincible on the other side. But part of what they did is they took advantage of the ineptitude of their division to get home field advantage. And Kansas City deserves all the credit in the world. They've taken advantage of Justin Herbert with bad coaches. They've taken advantage of Denver in a rebuild and the Raiders in a perpetual rebuild. They deserve credit for all of it. But there's never been a division with 4 head coaches that have been to a Super Bowl. I mean, the Raiders now have Tom Brady overseeing it, Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, and the very competent Geno Smith. Would you be shocked if the Raiders split every series in the division? I would not. And Bo Nix, year 2 with Sean Payton. He made the playoffs as a rookie. I mean, and they got money now. Kansas City doesn't have the money to go buy Hufanga and Greenlaw. Denver does. So and I'll give Kansas City all the credit in the world. But last year, 5 of their wins in division, all of them 1-possession games. Denver's going to be noticeably better. The Raiders are going to be significantly better. And Jim Harbaugh's career, year 2, everywhere he's ever been. Year one, he changes the culture. Year two, he changes the personnel. He needs 2 years of drafting, 2 years of free agency. I just saw somebody the other day pick the Chargers to win Super Bowl. I don't know if they will, but they'll be noticeably better than last year when they just had too many weak spots on the O-line, at wide receiver, at tight end. They've solved a lot of those riddles.
All right. I let that one kind of breathe a little bit, let Colin cook on that one because I wanted him to – I didn't want any editing to be done on that final piece because I felt like it all kind of ran together. But to Colin's credit, he finally said something that was factually correct. It took him about 2 minutes to do it, but he did it. The Tom Brady-led Patriots did feast on an ass AFC East for many years and was a big reason why they got home field advantage on an annual basis in the postseason. That is true. And yes, Brady and the Patriots lost a number of times in Denver in the postseason because, yes, they were not the same on the road. But what does that have to do with the Chiefs? What does that have to do with right now? Because so far, that's not been the case here. I mean, from 2018 to 2022, the Chiefs didn't play a single road game. And I remember all the noise, we all remember it, all the noise that came out about in 2023 when the Chiefs not only had their first playoff game in the Mahomes era on the road, but it was in his son Josh Allen's mini fridge known as Buffalo. So there was a lot going on about how, this is the time for the Bills to get their revenge on the guy that's just been owning in the postseason. And, this is the time for it to happen. This is the Bills' time. We heard all of it. Well, Patrick went in there and clapped some Bills' butt, and the crowd got quiet, at least for a few days. Because then we see the Chiefs head to Baltimore, another one of Patrick Mahomes' sons that was hosting their father for a postseason game. Now, this Ravens team, though, everyone was telling us was different, though, Trevor. Lamar's coming off his second MVP. This is the best defense in the NFL. They got home field. This is the Ravens' time now. Now it's the Ravens' time, and everyone's penciling in the Ravens to make the Super Bowl. And the Edgar Allan woes continued as Patrick Mahomes advances to yet another Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is not only undefeated in road postseason games, he has a career 117 quarterback rating on the road, completing 75% of his passes with 3 touchdowns and 0 turnovers. Just because Tom Brady had to feast on a bad division and capitalize on home field advantage doesn't mean Patrick Mahomes has to. He has more than proven that in the most hostile of environments, in the biggest of moments, he shines. And if we're going to start giving the other 3 teams in the AFC West credit, we have to start with the coaches because, yes, as Trevor and I were talking just yesterday, all 3 of those coaches, and Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, and Sean Payton, all 3 have coached in at least one Super Bowl in their careers, and 2 of them have won one. But even if we give them their credit for those accomplishments, we have to acknowledge that there's a reason they're no longer with the franchises they helped get there, along with the fact that all 3 went to their respective Super Bowls before the fucking iPhone 8 came out, and I'm pretty sure we're on number 16. All 3 can still coach. I am sure of it. There's no question about it. All 3 of them still have the chops to develop and put together a respectable franchise and a respectable product on that field. But what they once did, Andy Reid has been doing on an annual basis. That's the difference. And Cowherd's going to sit here and give us reasons why the Chiefs won't continue what they've been proven for nearly a decade they can and will do, but wants to confidently project that the Raiders, who played 0 games under their new regime, to be significantly better. He'll confidently assume the Broncos, who won 10 games last season, and 8 of them were against non-playoff teams. The other one was in Week 18 against the Chiefs, who literally rested their starters, will be this dangerous team that everyone's going to have to fear this season. And then, of course, he brings up margin of victory. This is my favorite argument against the Chiefs last season. I love this margin of victory discussion. 5 division wins coming by 1 possession. This is what Colin said as to why the dynasty's over. 5 division wins by 1 possession. Someone should let Colin know, and use a quick Google search, that over 55% of all wins in the NFL on an annual basis are won by one possession. 55%.
Yeah, blowouts are the anomaly. That's not common.
And I am so sick of people using the close wins against the Chiefs last season. When one, they still won, and that's all that fucking matters. Two, they didn't have a left tackle, their wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, a running back 1, with several key defensive injuries throughout this season. Oh, and and every one of their games on their schedule, they are that team's Super Bowl, so they get that opponent's A effort. Maybe not their A game all the time, but their A effort. You know that team circles that on the calendar from week 1 on. All while the Chiefs are just trying to stay healthy and get ready for the postseason. But I love how we're ignoring these facts and acting as if the Chiefs are just going to come back down to earth and will begin to lose these one-possession games moving forward. With Patrick Mahomes as their starting quarterback from his first start in Week 17 of the 2017 season in Denver all the way through 2023, the Chiefs went 43-20 in one-possession games. 43-20. Let me break that down for you guys real quick and to tell you how insane that is. In other words, the Chiefs won 68% of the time when the game was decided by one possession. That means that if every game was decided by one possession for an entire 17-game season, the Chiefs would win at least 11 and a half of them.
That means the Chiefs winning tight games is the rule, not the exception.
Thank you. That's a higher win percentage. Think about this. 68%. That's a higher win percentage than Andy Reid's entire career winning percentage. And in fact, would be tied for the 8th best coaching record of all time for any coach that's had at least 100 games in the NFL. So you would have a top 10 all-time coaching record if you just did what the Chiefs did over the last 4 or 5 seasons.
I don't know, man. Sirianni's close.
This dynasty began and will end with Patrick Mahomes, and he's just turning 30 next month. Let's look at, and we've talked about this before, but I just want to post this one more time, Trevor. Let's look at some other all-time great quarterbacks, what they did from age 30 to 38 on a 17-game pace. Let's look at the first one. That's Peyton Manning, and that's Drew Brees, if we can pull that up real quick. This is what they did from age 30 to 38 in a 17-game sample size per year.
Not bad.
Now look at Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. These are guys that, one just retired a couple years ago, one's still playing. If anyone actually believes or actually thinks that Patrick Mahomes is anywhere near the end of his prime, let alone his career, they clearly haven't been paying attention to the careers of quarterbacks that aren't even as good as he is. This is what I've been trying to tell people all along. And I was joking with Clay Windler, our producer, just a couple days ago on Twitter when he was talking about, Patrick's 30, and he shows the gif of Matt Damon in Saving Private Ryan when he ages progressively. And I go, yeah, I know. It sucks that, he's only going to be able to dominate the NFL for 15 more years. I don't believe Patrick's going to play till he's 45.
Right.
We talked to Pat Sr. about that on this very show. But I do believe that Patrick's going to play as long as he can. I think that until the wheels fall off, Patrick Mahomes is going to be playing football. And from everything I've seen to this point, I'm not going to say the Chiefs are going to be in the Super Bowl every year of his career, but I do believe it's going to be very LeBron-esque, where over 50% of his career seasons, he's playing in the Super Bowl. I really do believe that. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have every bit of 10 to 13 Super Bowl appearances in his career. That is something I very much believe. He's already got 5. He's 29 years old, and he's already got 5 Super Bowl appearances. I do believe that he's not even halfway done with his Super Bowl prowess and appearances. I don't believe he's halfway done. I told you, Trevor, I think there's a better chance that Patrick Mahomes has 7 or more Super Bowl victories than stays at 3. And I stand by that. He was 1 game away from creating history with a 3-peat, first time ever in the NFL history. That is something that we've never seen before, and I don't know if we're ever going to see. He was that close to making it happen, and we're already sitting here trying to close the book on him and saying the dynasty's over. Colin Cowherd's one of the most respected names, one of the respected voices in all of sports media, all of it. I will give him all the credit in the world for what he's done to this point. But if Colin was sitting across me, Trevor, right next to you or right next to me or wherever, I would look him in the face and say, this is one of the most foolish takes I've ever heard. I can respect and understand that a division is getting better.
And it's nothing new either. It's just
Exactly.
regurgitated
This is just
shit.
regurgitated shit,
They've been trying to say this shit for years now.
Right.
So.
And it just, to me, I know that we should ignore it. We should just, but it's sometimes you have to check the nonsense. Every once in a while, we have to sit here and talk about or call out the bullshit and say, hey, no, enough's enough. Quit trying to disrespect we see here in Kansas City, because this is something all of us have waited our lives for. We didn't think it was going to be this great. I'll be honest with you guys. When I heard the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, I was high as a kite. I was so stoked.
I was satisfied in 2019 if that was it.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like
just
the idea of us winning a Super Bowl at all was something that I was living for and said I can die happy now.
Right.
But to see where it's gone now, and that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like if this was happening to any other quarter, like if let's say the Bills were having this success the Chiefs have had over the last 7-8 years. Say the Bengals were with Joe Burrow, and let's say those guys were having that success. I don't think they're sitting here talking about the dynasty's over.
Yeah.
How do I know that? Because they're still ranking these guys above Patrick Mahomes, even when they don't have an eighth of the success he's had.
Well, what I get a kick out of, bro, to be honest, is especially with this take with Colin talking about, it's the last couple of years has been the Chiefs winning tight games and how that's a negative that they've been winning the close games.
Right.
But the guys that have been racking up the MVP awards the last few seasons are the guys that continue to lose the close games to Patrick Mahomes. And these are the guys that they're trying to. Everyone across the league is in the talk in television is trying to prop these guys up as this their time. Yet those are the guys losing the close games. Yet that's a positive because their time is still coming because they keep losing these close games. So the guy that keeps winning the close games, his time's up. The dynasty is coming to an end, guys.
Yeah.
It sounds more like wishful thinking than actual logical reasons to why this is going to slow down for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Why would you count against a team that's one great and also has luck on their side? You're just all that is wishful thinking. You're just trying to get ahead of it to eventually be right down the road once we start aging and getting older and Patrick Mahomes is towards the end of his career. Then you're like, see, I told you 16 years ago that they were going to slow down. That's what this feels like, bro. Like, oh, yeah, they won a lot of close games. Okay, why are we rewarding the teams that have been losing the close games?
Right.
Because if we're being honest, you're going to talk about the division being tougher and continue to get tougher with coaches and stuff. Let's be very real. What are the other teams that we've been facing damn near just as many times per year than our own division? Ravens, Bengals, Bills. We see those teams damn near twice a year every year.
Right.
And when it comes down to winning the games that matter between those matchups, we're winning those games. And we want to be negative on the Chiefs? Like, it's just, bro, this is just simply Chiefs fatigue.
And I don't want to believe
that's it. That's all it is.
I don't want to believe that because I know that there are people in the sports media landscape that are just paid entertainers. There are those people. I truly believe that that's what Stephen A. Smith is, and I'm not even trying to diss him.
Yeah.
I truly believe Stephen A. is meant to just entertain. I severely question his sports knowledge. I really do. I don't. Whenever I listen to him talk, I know he uses big words, but it's mostly word salad. He's not usually ever saying anything. He's just saying a bunch of stuff. I think that there are people like him that are paid to do that. But then I think there are people out there that are really good at their jobs and that are credible journalists or credible people that want to make you think and have thought-provoking thought. That is where Colin does fall under this, which is why this is so frustrating. Probably the ultimate reason why we're even acknowledging it. If this was Stephen A., because we heard Stephen A. talk about this week how hilarious it was when he said, I'm giving the Chiefs a 40% chance to make the Super Bowl, as if that's a bad thing. The Chiefs currently have a 19% chance. Yeah. And he said 40 as if it's a bad thing. So I'm thinking this is why I don't even respect him.
You know who's the current favorite to win the Super Bowl this year?
It's the Ravens?
The Buffalo Bills.
I'm shocking. Yeah. I'm shocked.
I'm
shocked. And what have they done this offseason? Thank you. Real quick, Trevor. What have they done this offseason? How did they get better?
Not the team that just won the Super Bowl.
How did they get better?
They're like third. The Eagles are like third favorites.
What did the Bills do this offseason that made them the Super Bowl favorites?
I don't get it, bro.
Just because they're due?
Their number one receiver is not even practicing. He has been practicing all offseason.
They're due, Trev.
I don't get it. Their running back is holding out.
Yeah, their big acquisition was what? Joey Bosa, who's already hurt? 31-year-old Joey Bosa.
It's crazy, bro.
I saw the boys busting with the whatever the fuck that show's called. What's the name with the fake teeth? Will Compton?
Will Compton.
Yeah, I saw him talking about, hey, watch out for this. This is the camp standout.
Perennial hater,
it was
bro.
Matt Milano. 31-year-old Matt Milano. And he's like, look,
10-year-old vet.
Camp standout. 31-year-old Matt Milano. We're talking about 31-year-old Matt Milano. He's going to have a breakout year.
Yeah, 10-year-old vet's going to get it this year.
I mean, dude, okay, the point I'm trying to make is This would be, if we were all, I don't want to question people's integrity in sports media, but I almost have to in this sense because of the fact that we're sitting here, if you just actually paid attention, and I know that Colin, he is subjected to some, brain rot because he has that talking muskrat.
Too much time on Twitter, bro, to getting those conspiracies.
He has that talking muskrat across from him, Jason McIntyre. That dude, says nonsense. I'm sure it's starting to brain rot with Colin. But the thing that I find furious about this is if you took 5 minutes and actually looked at what the Chiefs did this offseason, is the things they struggled with these last 2 years when they still went to the Super Bowl are the things they've now solidified and now have alleviated. They've now taken care of their left tackle position. Now, obviously, we still have to see that position, be fulfilled. We have to see Josh Simmons actually become that guy. But in all intents and purposes, they, investing a first-round pick in him, going and spending money on Jalen Moore, there's more of an assurance there now than there was these last 2 years when you're just playing swing tackles like Wanyas Morass. Like, we're playing guys like that do not belong in the starting position. You're swinging Joe Tooney out there. That's no longer the case.
Right.
And they still went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so if you took the time and saw that and said, hey, that team figured that out, and that was their weakness, and they still overcame it, maybe that team's going to go back.
But that's the funny thing, too. Like, when they try to use our division becoming better, our division has been getting better gradually every season for, like, the last 4 or 5 years.
And the Chiefs won by 6 games last year.
That's true. But also, the team that has been the best team in the division for the last 8, 9 years keeps getting better too, and we're getting better at this offseason. We still have the best quarterback and the best head coach, and not in the division, in the NFL.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the other teams below us getting better. We're getting better. We're still the best. The best is getting better along with the division. What does that tell you? That tells you that the same pattern is going to repeat.
Yeah.
We're going to win this division again.
Yeah.
Because we are the best, and we're getting better. Yeah, they may be getting better too. We're still the best getting better.
So that's the ascension.
Yeah.
It's
still,
like, bro, it's like going,
simple
we got
math.
better.
It's simple math. Bro.
Everyone's getting better. It's like, oh shit.
Of course, yeah. I'll give the coaching has gotten better. The talent pool in the division for sure is getting better. These teams tend to be the Chargers and the Raiders, even the Raiders, the Broncos, definitely. All those teams have been drafting really, really well the last couple seasons for sure. But so have we. Right. And we might have the best, once Rashee Rice is back from his suspension, the best receiving room that Patrick Mahomes has had his entire career.
6 months, man.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
A rejuvenated Travis Kelce, Steve Spagnuolo on his shit still, getting new young bulls in this defense. Ain't shit stopped over here. So why are we acting like this division getting better means anything?
It would be one thing if like Andy Reid retired.
Right.
If Travis Kelce was gone.
Yes.
If Chris Jones was traded away and like things like that were happening, I'd be like, you know what? Like, I kind of understand why people are kind of like, assuming that things are not going to be the same. I would honestly feel the same way on it. I'd be like, well, we got to see them. What would be our stance right now, Trevor? Well, we've seen this team succeed. There's been a lot of chaos this offseason, a lot of change.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can overcome it. That would be the conversation.
Or if we were the Bills, our star running back's holding out still. Yeah. Our number one receiver.
Yeah.
Isn't he's not available because he's hurt.
Right. And you and
like,
I look,
bro,
Trevor and I, we try not to give away stuff before the show, but we have our conversations obviously, and Trevor and I we're a little bit different on the Broncos. Mm-hmm. I'm not as big on them as Trev is, but even with that, it's like, okay, I heard Matt Verderam. I'm gonna give him credit. He actually said something that blew my mind the way he said it. He goes, the Chiefs won the AFC West essentially before Christmas, like before December, actually, last year.
Yep.
They ran away with this division, right? The Broncos and the Chargers made the playoffs. Both were 10-win teams, correct?
Yep.
And the amount of games, because the Chiefs went 15-2 and split with the Broncos. The only reason they split with the Broncos is because they literally handed them that Week 18 game, which ultimately is what got the Broncos into the playoffs.
Yep.
The equivalence.
The whole league was pissed.
Think about this. Yeah. The equivalence of what the Chiefs, if they would have, let's say they would have played their starters and won that game, they'd have won the division by 6 games. I think it's like 6.5 games, right? That is the equivalence and the difference between the Broncos and a team that won 3 games last season. Think about how insane that is. The difference between the team that won their division and the Broncos and the amount of games and the difference in their win-loss columns is the same as a team that would have picked second in the first or second in the draft this year.
Yeah.
That the gap between these teams is still so significant. Sure, the Broncos could be a playoff team this year. Sure, the Chargers And now they suffered a massive loss on Rashawn Slater again, and that's a really bad injury.
We've seen the splits with him on and off the
Man,
field.
yeah, and now, now they're going to move Joe Alt to left. What's the gaping hole at right tackle?
Which they have a deep room.
Yeah, sure.
But still.
Losing Rashawn Slater, though, especially after just paying him.
A top 3 left tackle.
Horrific, dude. Yeah, it's horrific. And
after you just paid him a record-setting deal, bro.
I'm being serious. I sincerely hate that happened.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You never. I want these teams as healthy as possible, because what I don't want is the fucking excuses. Yeah. I don't want to hear it, because you know what's funny? The Chiefs don't get the excuses. When they lose all their players last season and still go have the greatest win-loss record in Chiefs history, and they still pull that off, if they wouldn't have done that, no one's giving them those excuses. So I don't want excuses on either side of this platform. I want every team to be healthy. When the Chiefs play somebody in the postseason, I don't rejoice when Matt Milano's out. Yeah. I don't get happy when Stephon Diggs is dealing with something or Lamar Jackson is sick. I'm pissed off. I want to see the Chiefs beat these teams straight up, 100 versus 100, or at least as close to it as possible, so there is no fucking excuses. Because we already know that people are going to say that the games are rigged. We already know that there's going to be people that say, oh, the Chiefs have the refs in the bag, with just 10 years, not even 10 years ago, we have recordings of Travis Kelce calling them Foot Locker after the James Harrison hold on the PAT, on the 2-point conversion that would have won the Chiefs the game against the Steelers. But how wild times have changed, hasn't it, guys? Now all of a sudden the Chiefs have those same refs in the bag, isn't it? That's what I don't want, and that's why I just find it so humorous that we're going the other way as opposed to talking about what is actually happening. Like Trevor just said, yes, the division could be getting better, and more than likely it will be, because Pete Carroll, Sean Payton, and Jim Harbaugh are awesome coaches.
Yeah, we got Geno Smith in the division now. I mean, that's better than what the Raiders had last year. You know, maybe the best quarterback they've had in ages, to be honest. Like, when was the last time you had a better quarterback than even Geno Smith for the Raiders?
But that's the thing I asked. That's the thing I have to ask somebody, Trevor. Even like I'll even ask you and ask the listening audience. Let's say, give me your cap of what, like, win-wise, like, you think these teams are. Like, what is like a cap that you would give the Raiders? What would the cap you give the Broncos? Because the Broncos sure as hell won't have an easier schedule this year. They feasted on a shit schedule last year. Like I told you guys, 8 of their 10 wins were against non-playoff teams.
Well, and two, there's a full season of film now on Bo Nix. How does he play this season?
Thank you.
That's a factor too, for sure, bro. Yeah,
that happened with Justin Herbert. You saw it. His first season,
no crowds. On fire when he first came in.
Crowds. No COVID shut that down. Remember, no crowds, no pressure. And he was balling. 38 touchdown season, I believe, wasn't it? Or something like that. He had maybe the best rookie season of all time.
He came in when Tyrod Taylor got hurt, and he had to come in, he fucking balled.
Right.
For sure. I'll give him that credit. But, but then when you need him the most, it is what it is, man.
So, I still do respect Colin. I think he is still one of those few people out there that tries to make you think. But I also think that he's getting now caught in this trap of, I'm tired of the Chiefs. I really do.
100% Chiefs fatigue.
Yes.
That's what it's the same thing. You cannot have success without controversy.
Yeah.
There's all the people that are doubters or haters are kind of over it at that point. There's got to be a reason why the Chiefs keep sustaining the success, or they want to find out how it's going to stop.
Yeah.
That's all this is.
Because to your point, the former dynasty that we saw in the league had cheating scandals.
That was real.
Yes,
that wasn't controversy. That was real damning evidence.
People will use that forever against them.
There's got to be something more.
Yes, to make sense of it. Because the Chiefs are doing this so clean, it's like making people upset. Like, there's no scandal with Andy Reid as a person.
Yeah.
Or as a coach.
Dude, we got people really thinking that we're winning games because of Taylor Swift is swaying the odds and swaying the refs' opinions to call calls and not call calls. Taylor fucking Swift. That's what I mean. People are grasping for the shortest straws possible.
I love that one personally.
It's crazy, bro.
And I just want to thank Taylor ahead of time too. Like, thank you for getting the Chiefs another Super Bowl victory in 2025.
Yeah,
your powers just they meet no end. You are a mecca, a one person mecca.
Keep those satanic seances going. We love it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Taylor, for choosing us. Cannot thank you enough.
I mean, listen, bro. We're here. We've been here now for a few years now, so this is the new norm.
Yeah,
they want to make you. People always, the saying, people kick you when you're down. It's actually the opposite, man. When you're at the top of the mountain, you're getting all the arrows shot up at you. You know what I mean? Everyone's trying to punch up. Everyone's trying to tear you down. That's why it's the toughest thing to remain at the top, man. Heavy is the crown.
Yep.
Right, and it's not just the literal sense of the crown is heavy and it's hard to balance on your head when you're at the top. It's heavy because everyone's trying to pull it off of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So This is just a new norm, man. And listen, I always remind myself when I hear all these lame criticisms or these paid contrarians on TV trying to make new narratives to why the Chiefs are getting special special treatment across the league or this and that, why this is going to stop. I sit back and I just smell the roses because all that is the white noise of success. That's all that is. All the hateration, that's all just white noise of being the best.
Right.
That's what this is. And it's better than what the Patriots did because we have no dirt. There is no dirt.
Right.
You know what I mean? We traded one of the best generational talents in Tyreek Hill and we won 2 Super Bowls after it. Tell me a time when any other team traded arguably their best offensive player and got better. The Patriots never did shit like that. I mean, they let some big-time defensive players walk and stuff like that, but they also went on a 10-year stretch where they didn't sniff a Super Bowl, bro. Like, this is different. What the Chiefs are doing is different, and no one knows what to do with their hands.
Right.
Or their fucking mouth. So that's all we're dealing with right now, bros. White noise of success. That's all this is.
Well, as the Chiefs continue to move forward in their success, we have a preseason game to preview, and I can assure you guys, because, again, I hate preseason football. I truly hope the NFL does get rid of it. I'm not kidding when I say that, and it does sound like that could be a real possibility one day. This has been no secret, though. I've said it for many years now. But as long as it's here, we'll be here to give you guys what we're going to look for while watching simulation football. And, I'm not looking at X's and O's. I'm not looking at, end result. This is something that the Chiefs are simply using just to see who's going to make the 53. I've always said, guys, by the time, and this has been something I've been told by former players as well, by the time they get to week 1 of the preseason, they've already made a decision on about 40 people. 40 to 45 guys are already making this team. So this really comes down to about roughly 10 to 15 people that they're looking at to see who's going to make the roster. And so Trevor and I will give you our predictions as to what we see, the roster looking like in a week or two. But today, I just want to kind of focus on the guys that I'm going to be focusing on and why I'm going to be focusing on these guys. And Trev, I would love for you, to kind of explain who maybe you would like to, or you're going to be kind of watching a little closely tonight, because that's really what this preseason's all about, is just seeing who are going to be those fringe players that make the back end of the roster for special teams, 4-phasers, guys like that.
Yeah.
Right off the list, the first guy I thought about even this morning, I was like, who do I want to start off with? And it may not shock you, but it may shock you. I'm not sure yet. But it is Brashad Smith. And the biggest reason why is because I feel like he's almost being understated at camp. I know people are paying attention. I know that we've seen some highlights. But I don't say this lightly, Trevor. There's this growing sense in me that Brashad Smith is going to play a legitimate role in this offense this season. I'm not kidding when I say it. I think this is a dude that could become running back 2 by the end of the season. And I know that sounds nuts, but you know what else sounds nuts? Having a rookie starting running back in the 7th round starting for you in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That's what Isaiah Pacheco was.
He stole someone's job. Why can't that happen to him?
Because I think Brashad Smith's better than Isaiah Pacheco.
He's the better athlete without question.
And he's got better hands. He's a route runner, a former wide receiver. Yeah. This kid, dude, and there's something about these SMU dudes, man. Like they pump out this talent, even though they fall sometimes further in the draft than you thought they would. Brashad Smith to me just sounds and screams to me a guy that is ready for this level. And you guys know all
the reports is he's been popping at camp.
Yeah. And you guys know Trevor and I wanted him to go running back a lot earlier, and I still do. Yeah. But if they find something in this kid, they did the right thing. And they waited at the right time to get the guy that they feel most confident in can become maybe not running back 1 immediately, but at least a running back 2, a change of pace back that gives the Chiefs that dual threat capability. And the reason I say running back 2 is because and maybe I'm wrong for saying this moving forward. I know he's 30 now, but I still believe Kareem Hunt's the best running back.
He has an established role in this offense.
Yes. I'm not saying he's going to be the guy that gets the ball 18 to 25 times a game, but I don't have the faith in Isaiah Pacheco that I once did.
Yeah.
I think Isaiah Pacheco is very skilled, good running back, but he's also hurt a lot now. And I don't have the faith that he's going to be able to withstand the beating he takes, and sometimes self-inflicted by the way he plays, his style. I don't have the faith that Isaiah Pacheco is going to be able to stay the course all season long. So the Chiefs are going to be relying on Kareem Hunt a lot.
third and short, first and goal, nobody I trust more in this offense to punch it in and get that yard or get that touchdown on the goal line than Kareem Hunt.
Yes, 100%.
That's his role.
Yeah.
100%. And he's a guy that still catches the ball very, very well, too. He's always had that great. So, I mean, listen, I do think there's a chance that Pacheco, granted, this is his year to really make a name for himself and maybe go get that next contract elsewhere, most likely. But football is a business, man. If there's somebody else that's better than you or outshining you, gives this offense a better chance to succeed, you will get put on the back burner. And listen, like you said, the investment on Isaiah Pacheco, granted, a fan favorite across the Chiefs kingdom, that doesn't mean much after a certain degree, man. If somebody's outperforming you or gives this offense a better shot to be better and more efficient. Yeah. And more explosive, because God knows last year what we were missing more than anything, explosiveness.
Well, and look at the last 2 seasons previous, though, or even like 2021 and 2022. The reason why those offenses were able to be so explosive, especially in 2022, the reason they had so much balance and such an explosive offense still is because they had Jerick McKinnon, who had 9 touchdowns out of the backfield. 9 receiving touchdowns.
That's a very important role in this offense.
Yes. We've seen it, dude. The best version of the Mahomes era offense was in 2018 when you had Kareem Hunt catching balls out of the backfield. That's the best version we ever saw. And obviously having prime Tyreek and prime Travis Kelce is the biggest reason. You know, you had Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher. That was a complete-ass offense. That team should have won the Super Bowl if they had a defense that, could have stopped you and I. They couldn't. But that's what I'm saying. That offense was so fucking complete. What are we seeing again, Trevor? We're starting to see that offense somewhat. They're never going to find another Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
But Xavier Worthy is the fastest man in the NFL now. You have that when Rashid Rice comes back, Kelsey's still around. You have a good tight end nucleus. You have your tackle positions now solidified. If Brashad Smith is anywhere near as good as what Kareem Hunt was, anywhere near it, this is going to be something similar to that 2018 offense. I'm not saying it's going to replicate that, because that was a special all-time offense. That's one of the best offenses we've ever seen.
Yep.
But again, if it's just something close, if you just get 60 to 65% of that, 70% of that, you're talking about an offense that's scoring over 30 a game, and with this top 5 defense they have, this is a team that's going to go right back to where they were over the last 3 years. And I think Brashad Smith could play his role into that, man. And so that's why he's at the top of my board. Now, the second guy, there is no mystery about this one. I'm going to be paying attention because I think he's going to actually get some surprisingly a lot of playing time tonight. It's Jalen Moore. Jalen Moore is an expensive piece in all actuality.
Yep.
And now at this current juncture, Jalen Moore is a backup. And this is what I told you guys from the beginning. I thought that Jalen Moore would win the left tackle position because I didn't think Josh Simmons would be physically ready. I am 100% wrong about that.
Where do you think he gets the most snaps at, though? Because there's been talks about him even playing right tackle, left guard.
That's what Jalen Moore's going to be for this team. That's why, everyone's been like, oh shit, he played at right tackle. Juwan's in trouble. Juwan Taylor's losing his job. Oh, he played left guard, dude. Kingsley's losing his job.
Isn't that a good problem to have?
It's a great problem. That's what I'm trying to get people to understand. That what they're doing with Jalen Moore is they're saying, hey, how about we try him there? Because if that guy goes down, we want to have the guy that's worth $20 million to play the position.
He's really good.
He's good.
Yeah.
So how about that? How about we quit panicking and saying he's going to beat Kingsley out or he's going to beat Juwan Taylor out? That's not happening.
The fact that Simmons has been great.
Yes.
So far.
He never even got a shot. Dude, Josh Simmons has taken every single first-team snap at left tackle.
Yep.
The man just took the job. I was 100% wrong. I said Josh Simmons is a 2026 player. No, he is a 2025 player.
That's another thing too. Just to harp back on the Colin Cowherd bullshit and all the other talking heads. The Chiefs just most likely fixed their biggest problem that they had last year at left tackle, and maybe have possibly a future great at this position, because the film does not fucking lie. This kid is an absolute dog.
He's a dog, man.
If he stays healthy, and we've had this, we solidify and fix the left tackle, the biggest issue we dealt with all year last year. And now this is the year where the trajectory of the Chiefs starts to plummet.
That's what I've been trying to say, dude.
Make sense of this shit, dude. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And that's why I'm going to pay attention to Jalen Moore, because, dude, more than likely, there's going to be a stint, at least this season, where somebody's out.
Yeah.
Somebody gets hurt for a couple weeks, and let's hope that's all it is. No season-ending stuff. But there will be a chance that somebody gets hurt. And the Chiefs need to see, okay, where does Jalen Moore fit, and could he fill in that role? That's what they're doing. So tonight, I'm going to be really paying attention to that, about where the Chiefs play Jalen Moore, how long he plays, and how good he looks. I want to see what he plays like at guard. I want to see what he plays like at tackle. And this is as close to real life bullets as it gets, until the regular season. So I'd like to see what he does against, a real opposition. Other guys that are trying to make the team on their team. Other guys on the Cardinals that are trying to make the squad. He's going to be facing dudes that are going to give it high energy, high effort. I want to see what Jalen Moore does tonight, and I'm going to be paying attention to that. Ashton Gilotti's, I told you, Trey, he's my favorite player out of this draft for the Chiefs at this time. He was my favorite out because I love edge rush. I say every year, Chiefs need to continue to draft edge rush. Keep throwing more stabs at it. Throw more stabs at it, and eventually you're going to get some dudes. I think Ashton Gilotti's going to be one of those dudes. He plays a lot like George Karlaftis, and quite frankly, I think he's a little more physically gifted than George Karlaftis. I think he's actually even a little bit bigger, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but I know he weighs about 270 pounds. And Josh Simmons was throwing him around. But still, I digress. I want to see how Gilotti's his mechanical, I want to see how much the coaching has worked on him so far, because that's what you usually see with rookies.
He's got the
athleticism.
athleticism.
How much the coaches have really gotten into him, how much he's absorbed the information and the training. Yes, yeah. I'm going to pay attention to Gilotti's techniques tonight. How well he plays, how quick he is off the line, his swim moves, spin moves, bull rush. All that. I want to see what he's done. Because it can be very deceitful with pass rush. You can't hit the quarterback. You can't go full tilt. You guys are usually trying to keep themselves healthy. They're not trying to hurt anybody else and hurt themselves in the process. In this game, he can go full tilt. And I think Gilotti's going to try to show what he's capable of, because I think he's going to try to get a starting role. Now, I don't know if he's going to get that at first, because Mike Dana's making a lot of money, and so is George Karlaftis now. But I do think that his goal, I think, is to beat out Mike Dana eventually this season. And I think he's capable of doing it. He's talented enough. So I'm going to really be watching closely on how Ġilāṭi plays. And to stay at the defensive line, I only have two more here, Trevor, and I'm going to give you the floor here. Omar Norman-Lott has been a camp darling. I'm not asking him to be Warren Sapp tonight. I'm not asking him to be Chris Jones tonight. I'm not asking him to be anything ultra special tonight. Yeah. But I would like it, and again, I know these games don't matter in the grand scheme of things. They don't count. I would like it, though, if Norman-Lott makes a big play. The reason why is because I think that's the kind of thing that a dude like him could really feed off of. As we remember him in Tennessee, he was a rotational piece, and at this time of his career, he's going to be a rotational piece for the Chiefs. But if he was to go out there and the first impression he gives Chiefs fans is, I got a strip sack, fumble recovery, or, a couple passes deflected, big play here and there. If he goes out there and plays really well, the confidence from him and from everybody around him is only going to ascend. So I think that him being a guy that is an underrated big piece to the puzzle for this team moving forward, if he was to have, because we got to remember, this dude, he ain't no young buck. This is a 23, soon to be 24-year-old rookie. This is a man. So I think he's going to be a little bit further along than some other dudes might be at their respected positions. And I think the Chiefs like that about Norman-Lott, is they wanted to have a dude that's all about ball, that's a little bit older than most rookies, to come in and be that plug-and-play type player. But I think tonight could be an opportunity for him to maybe become that guy and show early on, hey, I ain't just no camp darling. I'm going to be a seasoned darling. I'm going to be a dude that comes in here and plays some real shit, that does some real shit for this team. And that's what I'm going to look for tonight. If he doesn't, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm not going to be like, oh, shit, that's a bust. No, I'm not going to do that. But it would be something that I'd be like, fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That makes that pick look that much better kind of thing. You know what I mean? Just kind of reinvigorates that confidence you have in Veach and his ability to find those guys that otherwise people are kind of down on or just weren't as big on. Because if we remember, when Norman-Lott was taken, there was a lot of dudes on those panels who were like, what? Like, well, why the Chiefs just take him there? I didn't have a good grade on him. I want to see him kind of show up those expectations. My final guy, and this might even shock Trevor here, because you guys know that I'm not a believer in him. I don't think he plays a real role in this team, but I am going to be paying attention to Tyquan Thornton tonight. Biggest reason why is because I do believe that there are, like I was just saying about Norman-Lott, there are impressions to be had. And given the volatility of the Chiefs wide receiver room and not knowing how long Rashee Rice is going to be gone, not really knowing, how available Hollywood Brown's going to be this year, knowing that Sky Moore somehow, someway still has a spot on this team at this current time, and I don't even know why the Chiefs try to keep convincing us of that. He does not play a role for this team. But that's three names right there in this room that we have questions about moving forward. if Tyquan Thornton goes out there and puts on a show, and he says, and he makes some big plays, or he just looks really good, it's going to force the hand of the Chiefs to make one or two decisions. And it won't be to cut him. It'll be, do we keep this guy? Or we do like a Smith-Marset situation, we trade him for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be door number 2, personally, because I still don't believe that Tyquan's going to be an actual piece to the puzzle here in Kansas City. But I do think that there is a chance that if he goes out there and puts on a little bit of a show and has some fun out there, and has a game, or maybe one big catch or something, and oohs and ahs everybody, I think there's a chance by the final week of the preseason, we hear that the Chiefs traded him to the San Francisco 49ers for a conditional 6th. Because the Niners need wide receiver help,
or the Bills.
Yeah, or I don't know if you traded the Bills, but maybe. You know what? You're right, Trevor, because
Bills are a needy team
the
right
Bills
now.
have been donating guys like Patrick Mahomes and Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs. So maybe the Chiefs like, you know what? Here's a Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, between the
we
Eagles,
can't give you Mahomes, but we can give you a Tyquan
Eagles,
Thornton.
Bills, and Niners, those teams always do work with us.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just giving examples. Like, there's gonna be teams out there that have injuries, or they just don't have the room they hoped for, and they're looking at Tyquan Thornton in Kansas City, and they know that he'll be like wide receiver 5 at best. It's like, hey, we'll give you a 2026 6th-round pick for him. She's like, bet. We'll just draft the next badass cornerback with that position, or that pick. Yeah. So those are the guys I'm looking for. I know there's a lot of other names out there, and trust me, I didn't forget them. I just don't have reasons to really watch them closely, because I think they either make the team, they're locks, or I'm just not really going to be paying attention to them at this time. So I'm sure that some of those guys will be on your list, Trevor, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, no more.
No more, yeah.
My guy. No more. No, but Norman Lott for sure was tops of my list of guys. That was one of my favorite picks in the draft, even though it was very low-browed reactions to it. But I want to see him make at least like one play where he just like runs through somebody and gets pressure on the quarterback, or even gets a sack possibly. I want to see a play where he kind of goes out there and just kind of mans somebody, because he's an older rookie. I want to see him bring some man type of plays, and some dog kind of plays. I just wanted to reiterate your point of kind of spotlighting him a little bit today on out there on the field. But the other guys I'm definitely looking for, obviously, the main one I want to watch, I want to see at least a couple spark plays from, is Jalen Royals.
Yep, I knew that.
That's my favorite pick of this draft. I think he's legitimately going to be a star for this team.
Okay.
Maybe not this season, but I think the hype is real behind him. I think the connections, and just from the tape I've seen from the snippets of camp, I think there's a real connection there with Patrick Mahomes, because I think he has a very similar skill set to Rashee Rice. I'm not saying he's Rashee Rice or is going to be better than Rashee Rice, but I think his connection is real. And I think from what I've seen, and just watching his tape coming in after we drafted him, didn't know too much about him coming into the league, but the kid's got the skill set that is a perfect fit for this offense, what we like to do. He's very good after the catch. So I just want to see a couple, get the ball in his hands quickly, see what he can do with the ball in his hands. Similar to Brashard Smith. I mean, those are the kind of guys you just get them in space.
Yeah.
Those guys are playmakers. That's what made Rashee Rice so great in this offense. We figured out, oh, shit, this guy not only can basically run the whole route tree, he can be on the outside as well and beat guys on the outside as well. But you get the ball in his hand, the dude turns into a running back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So guys like that thrive in this offense. That's what was exciting about Hollywood Brown, because he kind of has a similar build. But he's obviously a little bit smaller of a guy, and he's more of a burner, 9-route deep shot kind of guy. But also has a similar skill set there too. So Andy Reid loves those kind of guys. I think Jalen Royals fits this scheme in a great way. So I think we'll see some early shots to him in this game tonight with Patrick Mahomes whenever he's on the field. I think they want to display that they have something in this kid, and I think he's a real impact player, possibly as early as the first few weeks of the season, especially with this chance to display that while Rashee is suspended. Then Jared Wiley's a guy that hasn't been talked about enough.
Ooh,
I still like the kid. I still loved the prospect that he was. His tape coming out of oh my God, I'm drawing a blank where he played for some reason.
Was it Horned Frogs?
He was the Horned Frogs.
TCU?
Yeah, TCU. Loved his tape. Very Travis Kelce, prototypical kind of player. Not saying he's Travis Kelce, but the skill set, his strengths are what Travis Kelce's strengths were. He's a very polished route runner, fluid hips, good at creating space, finding spots in the zone. I loved everything about the kid coming into the draft. That's why I was very high on him. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL. Yeah. Sucks. But the reports are in camp that he's been working really, really hard to get himself back into shape, and I think he can have, in this preseason as a whole, I think he's gonna get some run out there. With the second, third string quarterbacks on this team. I think they're going to get some targets for the kid, and I think he's got a lot of upside, and I think he's kind of a sneaky watch tonight against the Cardinals. I think that's one of my guys I'm really looking forward to. I still believe in him. I still think he could be a player. As much as I love, Noah Gray in this tight end room, I still think he has a lot of upside, regardless of the injuries that he sustained, which is tough to come back from. But I think modern science and sports science, guys have been coming back from that injury and not really missing a beat. So I'm hoping he can get some shots out there and see what he's made of. Really like him as a prospect, man. And then also, Noel Williams is a guy I think you gotta. I mean, the hype behind him, and then him. A lot of people are talking about him being the steal of the draft too, at that DB position, and mostly because I want this to kind of bolster our take on this show about moving on from Trent McDuffie after the season.
Right.
Because if Noel comes out here in this preseason and even in the regular season, if he gets his shot to make a name for himself early on, I think that bolsters that point of what we do here.
Yeah.
Recycling the DB position, the cornerback position, and finding new blood to always be in the right place at the right time with this scheme, because Steve Spagnuolo's scheme is just, it's ripe and it's perfect for these kind of guys coming here and produce quickly. So I think if Noel Williams could come out here and, make some plays in that backfield, along with, Norman Lott doing his thing on the defensive line, those are things you just want to see.
Yeah.
And I think in the DB, as far as the DB room goes, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing what that kid can do out there. So those are the three guys I'm looking at
those
the
are
most.
all great points, and I find all that very interesting, because I think those are things to definitely be watching for, especially the Noel Williams thing. That's a very interesting way of putting it, because I think if he was to go out there and look even remotely good or make a play, then you're starting to talk about, that idea maybe sets in a little bit more comfortably to people out there that otherwise wouldn't feel that way about potentially moving. And that's obviously a long track, but you're things move quickly, and before you know it, we're going to be in next off season, and we're going to be talking about, okay, does the Chiefs pay Trent McDuffie or do they not? Well, I don't know. Noel Williams just had 7 interceptions in his rookie season. Do you need to pay him? That's the kind of stuff you're talking about. And this could be that step moving forward in that direction. And speaking of, in that direction, Trevor, let's go into the direction of getting to the people, because, we've made them wait for an hour now. I want to hear what they're asking, because I'm sure there's going to be questions regarding players in this game that we're going to be watching, and this game as a whole, and the Chiefs as a whole. So I want to get to the people, man. If you guys have questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments now, man, and we'll get to them. We'll highlight them, and we'll answer them as honestly as we can. Sure, what's going on in Speak It?
Yeah, we got plenty today.
Good.
The chat's been pretty active, so
good.
Appreciate you guys. But also, as always, our guy Dustin Norton with the first question here. Speak It. With injuries like we saw last night, do you think the preseason will continue as is and future seasons lessen or go away completely?
Yeah, I told you guys before, I'll say it again. I do believe that the NFL is going the way of getting rid of the preseason as a whole. We saw them get away with the 4-game schedule just a year or two ago. I think that they're going to continue to go in that direction where you'll see 2, and then eventually I think you'll see none, and then people are going to ask, well, what do you do? Well, we know that Andy Reid doesn't like to do this, so it may have to happen after he's gone. But I think that the joint practices is something I think you're going to start to see more of. It's going to become more of a prevalent thing, and I think the NFL is going to justify that to the coaches, because what they're going to say is, okay, well, we're giving you the opportunity of not having to play guys in these games that cause injury. How about you just have practices with other teams, and that way you can, kind of figure out what you have on your roster in that way, and we save those weeks and all that energy on the field for real football and real games. And I think that the NFLPA is going to definitely agree to that, because what's going to end it, the thing that we have to look at, the most important part of all this is, while the NFL looks like they're trying to do a favor for the players, we know that their safety isn't actually the most important thing to the league. The league wants to make money, and what they're looking at is getting that 18-game schedule, which will happen. We've seen Joe Burrow, we've seen a lot of other guys come out and say, okay, well, if you guys are going to do this 18-game schedule, we're going to have multiple bye weeks. We're going to have 60-plus man rosters. All that's going to happen too, because the longer the season goes, that's the better for the NFL. So when they get to an 18-game schedule, there will have to be compromises. There will have to be conveniences for the players. Otherwise, it's just going to be so one-sided that it becomes obvious from the NFL's perspective that people will then start to be turned off by the league, and they have to balance that out. You have to still cater to the casual fan because those are the ones that the NFL is trying to attract the most. Trevor and I and a lot of you guys, they already got us, hook, line, and sinker. They're trying to attract the people that otherwise don't watch sports or don't need sports in their lives. They want to be wanted by those people. The best way of doing that is giving them excess and access. Excess and access are two things that you want to give the people you're attracting. So I think that's what's going to happen in a long-winded version, Dustin. It will be eradicated, in my opinion. I think that they're going to go away from preseason football to justify going with the 18-game schedule and moving forward into the future the way the NFL wants to go about things.
Absolutely. Our next question is from Noah John Marshall. Question: what is your realistic expectations for Kingsley as a left guard? Not our hopes, but true projection. Is he better than Caliendo? Andy seems to think so. There's no competition at left guard.
There is no competition at left guard. That's because Kingsley is one of the most talented offensive linemen on this team. I think, and you know, we've had this conversation with our guy Mike Williams. We've had this conversation with 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂. You know, this assumption that Kingsley's not good because of what happened last season is so, to me, ignorant. Because we've seen guys throughout history of every position in this league struggle out the gate and end up becoming great players. It wasn't because they weren't good enough. It's because either one, they were underdeveloped and were ill-prepared, or maybe they didn't take the game as serious as they should have and they woke the fuck up and did it, or they were out of position. Now, it could be any of those three options. It could be any of that. Kingsley, maybe he came in and felt a little arrogant because he's like, oh, I'm walking in as the left tackle of the Kansas City Chiefs, and maybe didn't take it as seriously. I think what it actually is that Kingsley's just actually meant to be more of a guard in this league.
Happens a lot.
And that happens every year. There are guys that are 4-year tackles in college that become guards.
Mekhi Becton.
It happens.
Yeah.
And Mekhi Becton's like 6'8". He's like the biggest guard ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
he was built to be a tackle, to be
but
honest.
he's just not. He's just not.
Guard.
He's just better at playing guard. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen with Kingsley and what is happening with Kingsley is he's developing and evolving and morphing into what he actually is, an NFL guard. And that is awesome with me because he is talented as fuck. And I'm telling you guys, when he starts to click, and he will click, you're going to see why the Chiefs didn't give up on him fully. Do I agree with how they handled things in his rookie year? No. And I would tell Andy Reid that to his face. Man knows football better than I do, but I just simply do not agree with how they handled it. They exited stage left immediately on him. I think that was totally unfair. Regardless, we can't do anything about that now. What we can do is work on the now. And what they are working on in the now is Kingsley's going to be their starting left guard.
Yeah.
That's about as solidified as it gets, and I think he's going to do very well at left guard.
Cell32 Alt asked, and I think we already answered this question, what rookie are y'all most excited to watch?
We did, but we didn't. I think the most excited I am to watch, I would say probably 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂. And I didn't say that. He wasn't on the top of my list. I have two rookies right above him or right around him. I would say the most excited I am is 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂. I want to see if the Chiefs added another badass to that pass rush because we know they needed it. Because last year I think they had as a team, was it 36 sacks?
He's going to get some run today too.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So I want to see, I'm the most excited to watch 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂.
It's Jalen Royals for me. It's not even close.
Yeah.
I think the kid's a stud, and I think he's going to display that fairly quickly.
I'm going to say something real quick, and I want to put this on record so you guys everyone hold me accountable to this, but I've already put it on Twitter, so it's too late. I'm not kidding when I say, Trevor, that I think when we look back, I think this class is going to rival the 2022 class.
I like it.
I really believe
I'm
that.
getting those vibes too.
Dude, if Royals, a 4th-round pick hits, and then 𝚿𝙠𝙗's just solid.
I'm putting it out there right now. He's going to.
I hope you're right.
I'm putting my reputation for whatever that's worth.
No,
in the sports sphere right now. I think Jalen Royals is going to be a household name here for a little while.
Because think about it, that 2022 class, there was 5 guys that hit in that class, like 5-6 dudes hit on that, like legit hits, right? If they hit on Noel Williams, 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝙂, Omar Norman-Lott, Rashad Smith, and Jalen Royals, that's not even including Bossa. You know what I mean? Like, if they hit on 6 of 7-8 picks, that might be the best class the Veach's ever had. We're not even talking about 2021 when they went and got Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, Noah Gray. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they've had other awesome draft classes. 2022 is still the pinnacle.
Yeah.
But I think this draft class, if everything goes to what we think it's going to go, I think this is going to rival that draft class, dude. And why do you think, again, to bring back my original take months ago, why do you think I said all that time ago, I want to see Brett Veach get 10-plus picks? Because I had a feeling this current draft class, he was going to cook. And what did he do so far? Nothing but cook. And I think that he kind of undersold himself a little bit because I think that he didn't give himself enough opportunities to go in. Because I don't think Simmons, just for the record, I don't think Josh Simmons was going to go like pick 34, pick 35.
Yeah.
I think he could have traded back further. The reason why I think the Chiefs ended up just moving back one spot is because they knew they wanted that fifth year of control on Josh Simmons with that first round pick.
Sure.
So I think that's why they did that. Otherwise, they'd been like, let's move back 7-8 spots, get a couple more picks, and let's go and still get our guy, and then go and cook. They cooked regardless, in my opinion. I think this draft class is going to be really good, dude. And but yeah, I would say Gelati. You're saying Royals. I'll stick to my guns. I know you're going to stick to yours, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited about just about every rookie that we're going to see in this preseason debut.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just double down on my take again about Royals. I think Hollywood Brown's got a shot at getting his job taken from him.
Whew. Oh,
I'm dead ass serious.
all right. Well,
I think there's a chance that this kid could be that good quickly, especially with this window open when with Rashee Rice out. I think there's a chance he could be rivaling right there along with snaps with Hollywood Brown.
man.
Let alone with Hollywood Brown already being an injury risk. I think just like you talk about with Rashad Smith being, gunning for other running backs jobs here, I think we could say the same thing, if not more, about Jalen Royals.
The only way I see
that there.
The only way I see that happening is if Hollywood goes down.
All right.
The reason why, Trev, you got to remember, and you know this, Andy Reid with rookies. How often do rookies have like these blow up years with Andy Reid's offense? You know what I mean? Like Rashee Rice, it took half a
I'm not saying he's going to blow up
Okay,
this season.
I think he would have to in order to take Hollywood's job.
Well, he's got a chance to really put his
Stamp on the
stamp
offense?
on these
Okay.
first few weeks of this season. If Rashee's out 4 to 6 weeks, a month plus, I think there's a chance that the league finds out who he is fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I think there's a really good chance of that.
I just know Andy, dude. I just know how safe he plays it. Like, even with a Rashee being out, like, he doesn't put rookies in those positions enough. Like, I think, honestly, if we find out that Rashee's gone for a month, the guys that you're going to see the majority of the snaps go to, obviously Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yep.
And they're going to have, like, a rotation of, Jalen Rose plays, like, 5 to 10 snaps. Then you see, like, Nico Remigio coming in. And if Tyquan Thornton, by some stretch of the imagination, makes the team. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't know if Jalen's going to have enough opportunity this year.
For me, it's not about him just simply being a rookie and rookies develop slower in Andy Reid's offense, which is true. For me, it's about fit. It's about executing plays that are not only his strength and his game, but also what Andy Reid is looking for as far as a schematic fit.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown isn't even, in my personal opinion, he can be a good fit for this offense, but I think what Jalen Royals' film and what he's done through his collegiate career is a better fit than Hollywood Brown is in this offense. So I think fit really, really matters here, and what his strengths are compared to what Hollywood Brown's strengths are in this offense. So that's why I think Jalen Royals, his comp is literally Rashee Rice, and their game is very, very similar. When I watched this tape, I felt like I was watching Rashee Rice. So I think fit really matters, which is why I think Rashee Rice was kind of an outlier in the Andy Reid offense, developing a little quicker than normal, even more so than Xavier Worthy. He was slower to come on, honestly, outside of little gadgety plays that he's so dominant as far as his athleticism goes with his speed, with rush touchdowns and things like that. But I think just fit-wise, I think Jalen Royals fits what Andy Reid likes. And I just, sometimes you can't say no to a better fit, especially with this opportunity. When Rashee comes back, I think Jalen Royals kind of goes away a little bit more, obviously, because I just think that's obviously how it's going to go as far as the pecking order. But I think there's a good chance with this suspension for Jalen Royals to kind of make a name for himself pretty early. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm feeling more and more confident about that take. Dustin Norton, a buddy of mine asked me this question, so I thought I'd ask you guys. What would your opinion be on the Chiefs signing Frank Clark as a depth piece?
I would say that's a wasted roster spot.
Yeah.
I don't think Frank Clark's a football player anymore. Frank Clark he's been washed for a couple of years. That's not a diss on Frank. I appreciate every contribution he had while he was here in Kansas City multiple times. But yeah, I don't think he's got it in him anymore. I don't think he's a guy worth putting on your roster, especially a team like the Chiefs, that every roster spot has to have validity and justification. This isn't a growing team that's trying to get over that hump, and you bring a guy like that in to be that veteran to help you get over that hump or teach the young guys. The Chiefs don't need that. They have Chris Jones. They have Mike Dana. They have veterans like that, Mike Pinnell, guys like that can get those guys rah-rahed up. I just don't see any real relevance for Frank Clark to be on this roster. Quite frankly, probably any roster at this point of his career, because he's cooked. The mentorship might be nice. A former Super Bowl champion that's second all time in Chiefs playoff sacks. Yeah, sure. I mean, that sounds great. That's cool. Or was he like third all time in NFL sacks? I'm sorry, postseason sacks.
Postseason history. Yep.
Yeah. He has the most Chiefs history. Yep. But yeah, there's a reverence, there's an aura to him and things like that. But if you're asking me, do you put him on the football field in the hopes that he can contribute? Oh, I have zero confidence in that. I'd say bring him on your coaching staff if anything, but don't put him on the football field.
Just have him be a locker room spokes guy.
Yeah,
having him, dude.
Yeah,
all time sound bites from that
absolutely.
guy. Love
have
that
him
guy.
having James Palmer do a podcast together. That'd be a great one.
Yeah, dynamic duo right there. Our guy Micah Hayes, if you could redo the 24 draft, would you draft Ladd McConkey over Xavier Worthy? Would you draft Nick Benito over George Karlaftis?
No and no.
Good questions.
I know this sounds like there's Homer glasses on my face right now, but no and no, because Trevor just said it himself.
Yep.
It's a scheme thing. I think Ladd McConkey would be fine in this offense.
He's awesome.
But I think Xavier Worthy is that guy because their styles are so significantly different. The Chiefs wanted to go and get a burner that can make downfield plays. That's Xavier Worthy. Ladd McConkey, actually, as crazy as it sounds, plays more like Rashee Rice. Mm-hmm. He's more of a possessions guy, a 5-yard dig route kind of dude. A guy
can
that
run the whole tree, though.
Sure. I mean, he's not a guy, though, that can even he pales in comparison to Xavier Worthy's speed and ability to get downfield.
We need that explosiveness. Yeah.
I would 100% out of 100 out of 100 times would still make that one. Nick Benito's a really good player.
Yeah.
I don't know, though, if I trust him when it matters the most over George Karlaftis. I've seen George in the biggest games and the biggest moments come up big. I've seen him make big plays in the postseason. And he may not be as good of a player individually as Benito, but I think that in the Spags scheme, Karlaftis actually molds and fits a little bit better because they need that bull rush type of guy. And I think that the availability factor of Karlaftis always being ready to play, always on the field, I would stick with that one. I mean, I would have to probably sit there and think for a few seconds. I would never think about the Xavier Worthy McConkey one, but I would have to maybe ponder on it for a few seconds and still ultimately go with Karlaftis.
Yeah, I'll take the success that Karlaftis has brought to this defense, Super Bowls and all. Benito's been on the other side of that, so is what it is. Benito's a badass, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
Julia Gulia, what they gonna say when Travis retires, or when Andy Reid retires and Patrick Still wins? They're gonna keep moving the goalpost till the man retires himself. This question came in when we were talking about all the naysayers all the time, the new narratives that consistently get birthed when the Chiefs continue to find success, or even just getting to the Super Bowl in general every year in, year out.
I think, actually, Julia, this is where the conversation is going to finally get interesting.
It's going to get there.
Because I will be interested to see how the media handles that. Because, first of all, we don't really know when Andy's going to hang it up. I still think that Andy coaches till at least 2029, so that's another, 4 seasons? I really do, because he extended that. He signed that extension this last offseason till 2029. I think that he honors his contract. I don't think he hangs it up unless there's some unforeseen health scare or something like that. I think Andy Reid coaches till 2029 at least. So that's, like I said, 2025, 26, 27, 28. So that's actually 5 more seasons. I think that when that happens, Patrick's going to be so far advanced in his career that I don't think it's going to really matter what the conversation is at that point. Because I really genuinely believe, guys, that Patrick Mahomes is going to have 5-6 Super Bowl victories by the time he's 35. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have at least 5 Super Bowl championships. He's got 5 rings at least by the time he's 35. At that point, the conversation is no longer a year-to-year thing. What it's going to be about is Patrick Mahomes does Patrick Mahomes have to get 2 more Super Bowl rings to be considered the GOAT? It's no longer going to be, can he win with or without Andy Reid? Because we saw 6 of 7 Tom Brady's rings came with Bill Belichick. Yes, he won with Bruce Arians in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but that was more so because of the fact of what he went against. We saw a team that he took over. In 2019, you had the Patriots with no weapons at all. Tom had one of his worst seasons.
Yeah.
Then goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with prime Mike Evans,
Best
prime Chris
roster in the
Godwin.
league.
Goes against Gronk out of and then has one of the best offensive lines and one of the best defenses in the league. Of course, they're going to probably be a team that contends for a Super Bowl. So yes, that's be a conversation for that time. But I think that we're not going to really have to worry about that for a long time. And I think there's going to be so much winning in the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era that the only conversation that's going to be really had at that point is, can he get to 7? And does he need to get to 7 because he's already won 5 at 35? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be more of a, look what he's done in this span and look what Brady's done in this span. I think that's going to be more of the conversation. Or maybe I'm having wishful thinking because I'd like to believe that the media would actually be truthful about stuff for once.
You're asking integrity. That's,
It's tough to do.
Good luck. Micah Hayes, do you think Elijah Mitchell will be cut? He has dropped to the second team. Reports from camp are he lost his speed and explosion because of the injuries.
Yeah, I told you guys all along that I'm not expecting Elijah Mitchell to make this team, but I will hold out, I wouldn't say hope, because I'm not really looking for Elijah to make this team. It's going to really depend on what the Chiefs do with how they want to play the fullback position, because I don't think Carson Steele makes the team.
Yeah.
He has no real role, and there's no need for an actual full-time fullback on this team. So a lot of times Andy will use tight ends at fullback, or he'll use another running back. If Andy wants to keep 4 tight ends, I don't think Elijah Mitchell makes the team. If they keep 3 tight ends, I think Elijah Mitchell makes the team. It's going to really depend, like I said, on how they want to facilitate those plays where they're, power back plays, and they got a fullback out there. How are they going to do that?
Yeah.
That's the only way I see it happening. And I think actually the Chiefs are going to keep 4 tight ends. I think they like their tight end room a lot.
Yep.
So I think they're going to keep
Robert
4 tight ends. Yeah.
Mix,
I think they're going to keep 4 tight ends.
I heard Tunney's been doing a good job.
We'll discuss who I think those 4 will be. But I do think they keep those 4, and I think they keep 3 running backs.
Yeah, I feel like Elijah Mitchell's just like one of those guys that we're going to see on the practice squad pretty soon, in my opinion. He's got talent. The dude's
Is he practice squad eligible?
That's a good question.
He's 26 now. I don't know.
Carson Steele might be.
Yeah, he definitely is.
He's definitely, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I think what would happen is Elijah probably makes another team.
He'll definitely make it.
He'll get cut, I think, and then he'll make another roster.
Yeah. He's just sustained so many. I like him. He's always been a good talent. I always liked him, like at fantasy
unreliable
and stuff. Yeah, he's just a guy that you can't. He's never played more than like 10 games in a season. You know what I mean? So the guy's always hurt. But in spurts, he might be a good guy to have in moments. Say if Pacheco goes down, he's a guy that has a big burst ability. But if he's lacking speed and he's lacking, which the burst ability and speed is kind of what he's known for. He's pretty shifty as well, but he's like a guy I look at as like a Kenyon Drake, or a guy that you can just those kind of just jobber guys that get bounced around across the league. That make a roster or don't make a roster. If he doesn't make our roster, he'll make somebody else's roster.
Sure.
It's just, I'm not too worried about the 4th running back in our room right now, to be honest with you, especially with Rashard Smith on, getting all the hype right now too. Noah John Marshall. Speak it. Who is a surprise cut and a surprise make? I'll say cut is Najee Johnson, and make it is one of those undrafted linebackers, McDonald or George Christensen cut.
Yeah, they're big on George. I've been hearing a lot of good things about him, and I was cracking up my buddies at All Chiefed Up. They were posting all that fake news about George sneaking out of the dorms to go and party. I'm like, where the hell is he going to party in St. Joe? Because they're exposing how funny Facebook is sometimes. Yeah. Trevor and our dad will text us funny stuff sometimes. Like, is this true, guys? And it's like, Joe Burrow just got traded to the Chiefs. Like, funny shit like that. It's just the funniest stuff. The Facebook's a funny place. I think there's a chance. Yeah, I think George has an inside track right now to make this team, especially on special teams. He's making an impact whenever he's been on the field. I know they love Christensen, so it'll be interesting to see that battle. I think they're going to use that battle for the next 3 weeks. The surprise cut that I think that I'm standing on business on, and I say that funnily and not so funny, is if they don't trade him, the whole Tyquan Thornton situation. I'm not big on him like other people are, because if Trevor and I, we've talked to, we've seen other Patriot fans, where he was formerly drafted in the 2nd round. A lot of people are like, yeah, he's fun to watch in, games that don't matter, which is, the preseason or training camp, and then he misses 10 weeks because he gets hurt. Like, I don't want players like that on the football field for the Chiefs. If you have injury problems on a consistent basis, I don't want to see the Chiefs rely on you. That's why I'm saying about Isaiah Pacheco. I think they're going to rely more on Kareem Hunt in the grand scheme of things because Pacheco just has not physically been reliable enough to stay on the football field over these last couple of years. You need to be able to have guys out there that can stay and withstand it. And I think if they were to cut somebody that would be shocking to me, it would probably be Tyquan Thornton. And I'd be shocked also because I think they can find trade value in him. I think a team out there would be willing to give up a late day 3 pick for him in order to solidify getting him on the roster because he is talented to his credit. I just don't think he fits this team, and I don't think he's going to make this team. I think one way or another he's on another roster come week 1.
Gotcha. Micah Hayes, on Friday, 610 Sports talked about how the Chiefs were bottom 10 in red zone TDs last year. What are the top 2 things the Chiefs got to improve to increase red zone TDs?
Yeah, I heard Cody freaking out about that too. Cody loves to scream into the mic for random reasons, but yeah, I heard him say that, and I was like, yeah, guys, that they were so terrible in the red zone, man. They had the best season in franchise history, 15-2, made the Super Bowl. God, I hope they fix that. But in all seriousness, I think the biggest...
That's a good way to think about it, though. I mean, if we were that bad statistically, yet we had that record, where can we go from there?
Right.
It only gets better.
That's the real question. I think that what we're doing is I think the team's so damn good that we're like, if they're not great at something, you have to ask the question why. And I understand that. Because, you want to always improve the roster. You always want to improve the way you play. It's very simple to me. The lack of availability at left tackle and wide receiver and running back was the reason why they sucked in the red zone.
I was going to say
it's not
the red zone. The red zone percentages got a little bit better when Kareem Hunt got here, and now Kareem Hunt was not even prepared to play football
when they went and signed DeAndre Hopkins.
Now he's got a full off season. Now we have a true left tackle.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's
going to get better, fellas.
That's the point, guys. Like,
ladies,
it's not. This is why I was so confused by their confusion when I heard them saying this live on air. It's about availability.
It's so bad we made the Super Bowl.
That's what I was cracking up.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, they overcame it, guys, first of all. Second of all, it is so understandable why they struggled in the red zone. When you don't have a left tackle, your quarterback doesn't have time to improvise, let alone stand in the pocket and deliver the ball. Let alone when you move the best left guard in the league to left tackle, it weakens your run game, so you're not able to grounded pound as much as you would like to in the red zone. Like there's I mean, it's so self-explanatory. I don't understand. Like this is why I get upset at the national level too, and this is why guys in the local media saying this is even more confusing. I'm like, you guys are on the ground floor. You saw what's been happening. The national guys not paying attention either, and asking why is Patrick Mahomes' numbers gone down. What did I get like some inside information you guys didn't have all year? Did I watch the games you guys didn't watch and you just like saw the end results and didn't know what actually happened? Like I don't understand how people don't understand. The reason why is because of the injuries. It's so simple. So we can freak out about why the red zone offense sucked last year, or we can just say that was a freak season. And that's not going to happen again this year. And you're going to see it when they actually have a left tackle, actually have their wide receivers, and actually have their running backs healthy. Holy fucking shit, this offense got good again. Wild how that works. I don't understand the freak out, man. I really don't.
I'm expecting a whole lot better this year, that's for sure. Mark Hernandez, can the Chiefs have both offense and defensive rookie of the year this year?
I'm going to say no. I don't think that there's any real possibility of that. I mean, maybe if Noel Williams has like 8 picks this year, or if Gelati has multiple like double-digit sacks.
Simmons has a shot, I think. If Simmons comes in, he's one of the best
left tackle to make.
I get it. But if you're on if you're on a Super Bowl contending team for the best quarterback in football, at least to some anyways at this point, it's highly unlikely. But
I think the biggest reason why it's highly unlikely also, Trevor, is because of the Chiefs' fatigue.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're looking to give any Chiefs players awards.
Or if we're blindsided by a massive explosion year for Xavier Worthy, he has a chance. Oh, no, that's rookie.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. If Jalen Royals has a big year or something like that, yeah. Brashad Smith.
I wouldn't expect Jalen Royals to have that kind of year, but
I just think there's so many big names out there that are rookies that they're going to get all the attention. I don't see any real chance of that happening. Not to sound negative here, bro, but like I said, the only way anybody gets defensive or rookie or offensive rookie of the year in Kansas City is if they have an historic season.
I mean, I'm sure somebody from the Bengals or the Bills or the Ravens will probably get those awards, and we'll be on another trip to the Super Bowl, so those guys can feel like they achieved something. That's usually how it goes year in, year out. They get the cool awards while we're working for the award. Anyways, Julia Gulia, do you think the deep ball will be prevalent in the game plan tonight?
I don't know.
It's something we need to at least get some rhythm on because last year the rhythm was rough.
Yeah, all I'll say, Julia, is one thing we do know is that the milk and toast stuff is going to be out there. They're not going to be running any sophisticated route tree. They're not going to be doing anything that Andy Reid wrote up this offseason or has in his book. They're not putting that out there on film tonight. It's going to be very basic concepts, old school West Coast offense.
Yeah, you can see some 3-step dropbacks from Patrick, getting rid of it, throwing it away.
Patrick's going to be out there for like 8 plays, and then he's going to go put the visor on, and then Gardner Minshew's going to play. Look, I'm not trying to dodge the question,
Jalen Royals
Julia.
Gonna get his touchdown.
We love you, Julia. You know that. I'm not trying to dodge your question because your question is valid here. I just don't know what to really pay attention to when it comes to play calling tonight. If you were to ask me what we should expect in Mexico or Brazil in week 1, we can have that conversation. I could break that down to you and tell you what I'm expecting. But I don't think that they're going to go out there and put an onslaught against the Cardinals tonight, where they're out there.
Run it up.
Yeah,
Run it up, boys.
Just
Fuck
push
the Cardinals.
shit in. Just push it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Preseason, bitches. Pat needs to go through for 5 touchdowns tonight, dude.
He's gonna get 5 tutties, dude. Fuck it.
On one drive.
And just blow those fuckers up.
Mark Hernandez. Would Mahomes get voted first ballot Hall of Fame if he retired today?
Yes. 100% yes.
Yes.
He's had the greatest start of a career anyone's ever had in the history of the NFL. He's already I think he's already the best quarterback we've ever seen. He's not the greatest when it comes to accomplishments yet because Tom Brady still has more accomplishments. That's just a time thing, though, more than anything. But no one can actually look you in the eye and tell you they've seen someone play the position better than Patrick Mahomes.
There's never been a better stretch.
No.
Of these first 7 years.
Yeah, you can't tell the story of, you can't even begin to tell the story of the NFL without mentioning Patrick Mahomes. Like he has to be in the first couple of sentences.
Yeah.
When it comes to, explain the NFL to somebody. And name the representations.
Well, think about
Patrick Mahomes has to be on the list.
Bro. The NFL and sports in general are divided by eras.
Right.
Right? Before, I'll go back just to there was the Brady era where Brady was the guy.
Yeah.
For a long time. I get it. Before Brady, who was it? It was Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Joe Montana was the guy.
Right.
So the last couple eras before Mahomes, this is now the Mahomes era.
And no matter what the media is trying to do, the guy is the face of this league.
Yes.
Josh Allen is not, even though they donated him an MVP. Lamar is not because his playoff career is ass. Joe Burrow can't make the playoffs. So no matter what they try to do with these other guys, the guy is number 15 here in Kansas City. So yes, with 100% no hesitation, he is
Speaking
a
of
first
Josh
ballot Hall of
Allen,
Famer already.
Mark follows that up with, would Allen get voted into the Hall of Fame if he retired today?
Yes, he would. Josh, dude, I don't want to misconstrue my stance here. When we're talking about Josh Allen versus any other quarterback, I usually take Josh Allen. In fact, I would. If you were to tell me you can't pick Patrick Mahomes to start your franchise, I don't even think about it. It is Josh Allen. Because he's not only just a great player altogether, the man has been unbelievably great in the postseason so many times.
Yeah.
Look, there's no question about it. Josh Allen is
His numbers
right
in the
now.
postseason are insane, dude.
He already owns that record of he's the only player ever. I mean, it was 3 or 4 straight seasons of throwing at least 3,500 yards and at least 500 rushing yards in a single. He's done it 4 or 5 times already.
He's the only.
That's stupid.
He's the only. I think what was it that stat that you talked about when Nick Wright said he's the only quarterback with 7+
playoff wins and no Super Bowl appearances.
No Super Bowl appearances.
That's
we all know why.
Against him. Yeah, exactly. You can use that against him or just say,
Mahomes era.
The dude above him is just better. That's just simply how it is. So, Josh Allen, when it comes to just the individuality, dude, I only sing his praises.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he's had some turnover problems and things of that nature, but over these last couple of years, he's turned that way the fuck down. He still makes some really dumb decisions, but so did Brett Favre and so did other great quarterbacks. They make dumb decisions sometimes. Josh Allen, without question, is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Without question.
Easily a Hall of Fame talent.
He is, dude, he is Cam Newton with Ben Roethlisberger. If they had a love child, that is them.
He's even got a bigger arm than Big Ben, too.
Oh,
Big
no,
Ben
no doubt. Yeah, Cam Newton had a bigger arm.
He could throw on the run. Big Ben wasn't the best at throwing on the run.
Yeah, he was,
Wasn't
he's more Cam Newton than Ben, but I'm saying the size and the skill set that Ben did have in the pocket, Josh has that too. Ben was very nimble in the pocket for a long time.
I think Josh Allen's a one-of-one kind of guy.
Yeah, he is, dude.
I think he's an absolute outlier of what I think he's unlocked new potential even at this quarterback position for what he can do at all aspects of the game.
In all actuality, like with size and arm strength considered, there are aspects of Josh Allen that are more talented than Patrick Mahomes.
For sure. Just like Justin Herbert maybe have a better arm than Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what happens in the big moments? Who outshines who? Who does more? Who, you know what I mean? Like the clutch stuff. Like,
I mean,
that's all Patrick
if we're being
Mahomes.
fair, and this is all due to respect to Josh Allen. A lot of those games comes down to who has the ball last.
Yeah.
That's how great Josh Allen is.
And then again, though, last season, you know, in the AFC
the ball
Championship,
last.
he had the ball with 3 minutes to go, down 3, and got 17 yards. Got 17 yards.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
don't want to hear it.
That was his biggest moment.
That's why I said the conversation always starts at 2.
Yeah.
Well, we're not doing the whole who's the best quarterback in the league. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
That conversation's been over for years. It's all right. Who's second best? You know, who's third best?
At least
That's
to
where
the
conversation
logical fans,
starts.
anyways.
Yes, people that actually have a brain cell.
Yeah, not those are preying on the downfall. Julia Gulia, does Noel Williams' early struggle concern you at all?
Not one bit. Not one bit.
I don't get caught up in the camp hype shit.
Nope. I don't. I remember, and to bring it back to Patrick Mahomes, I remember Adam Teicher would sit there and count Patrick Mahomes' interceptions in camp.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? You know what I mean? Like, I look, camp to me, we as fans view camp so much differently than what it actually is.
Yeah.
Camp is used as a test study, all right, let's see what you do in this situation. Let's see how you handle this situation. The players know what plays are coming. So if Patrick throws a bad interception, it's not usually because he made a bad decision. It's because they're trying to do something where, hey, let's try to get that timing route down, Patrick. Let's try, when that left foot plants, let's get that ball out right there, and let's make sure that his hands are ready. And if they don't do it right, Shamari Connor knows it's coming, he picks him off. Mike Edwards knows it's coming, he picks him off.
Yeah.
Like, those things happen. And when we see Noel Williams, they're working on his technique, his footwork, the way he moves his hips. It's not so much, hey, let's make sure that you disrupt that pass, because that pass is going to be there. We know it's going to be there. You're going to go this drill a million times. We're seeing the development of Noel Williams as an NFL player in camp right now. It's a test study. Will he be slow out the gate? Maybe. Or maybe camp is what's going to get him prepared to hit the ground running. We don't know yet. So I'm not worried yet. But if we see him out there in real live moments and he's getting burnt, and he looks, underwhelming and underprepared, yeah, then we'll start to worry a little bit, but not right now.
Yeah. Our guy Shaggy Shane in the chat. I'm just tuning in on my lunch break at work. What do you think about the Arizona Cardinals head coach saying this week that he is going all out and playing his starters into the third quarter tonight?
I think he's a fucking idiot. And Jonathan Gannon's earned my respect, but he's a moron. You don't play your starters that late into preseason games. If that hasn't been proven already this week alone, and the other games we've seen, shell out, I don't know what else to tell you. Do I think that if you have preseason games, it doesn't hurt to, get a couple reps in? Sure, whatever. But you guys know my stance. If I had my way, if I was Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes doesn't touch a fucking football field in the preseason. That man does not take a snap in preseason. You know why? He doesn't need it, and I don't take the risk. Put him in bubble wrap.
Yeah, good luck telling Pat that, though.
I get it. Dude, look, that
thing,
man, and that's the beautiful thing about that man.
Yeah,
He's the ultimate competitor.
Yeah, he loves being out
and
there.
I love that about him, but you also see, those are the guys you have to protect from himself.
Sure.
Because if you let Patrick just do whatever he wants, he's out there playing basketball.
We all saw the epic video of him throwing his jacket when he had to go get his leg checked.
He's the ultimate competitor. He's the guy that will go play a football game and then go out and play pickup basketball at Lifetime Fitness. Like, you got to protect those guys from themselves. And these guys are but alpha males, alpha athletes that are out there. And if an enabler like Jonathan Gannon's out there putting his guys out for the 3 or 4 quarters, you're setting them up for failure. You're going to get somebody hurt.
Yeah. I mean, those are teams that don't have much to lose. Chiefs, on the other hand.
Yeah,
if we're being honest, it's the Cardinals.
But
who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Just being honest, bro. Like, no offense, Shaggy. I get the question, but like,
fairness,
bro.
Kyler Murray, it's kind of there is a storyline there. Like, do they keep Kyler Murray after this year? They have a young, developing defense.
Well,
they got some young stars in Marvin Harrison. Like, there's some things in Arizona. Like, their division, it's kind of up for grabs. If we're being honest.
I mean. And we all know that the first, like, fantasy purposes and stuff goes. I mean, if Marvin Harrison goes out there and makes a big play, everyone's going to be freaking out. Oh, this is his year. Marvin Harrison's going to
Or if he snaps his fucking leg because you're playing him in the third quarter.
We've seen that also.
You know what I'm saying?
That would be tragic.
We've seen Julian Edelman tear his ACL in a preseason.
Just keep my guy McBride in bubble wrap, please. I love Trey McBride. That's one of my favorite guys right now. I love that dude. I don't want him to see him get hurt. Just don't play him. Michael Maldonado, does Shedeur Sanders start week 1 or after their bye week?
I told Trevor before the show that if I am the Browns, I start Shedeur Sanders immediately. The biggest reason why is this, and quite frankly, the only reason why. The Browns are not a good team. They're probably a 5-6 win team at best. And if you're trying to justify your job as a head coach, if you're justifying to keep your job, you could say, hey, yeah, we sucked this year, but I took our 5th-round pick and made him into a full-time starter, and he's good. Guys, I'm not a preseason guy. You know that. But you can't tell me, and if you guys watched last night, you can't tell me that Shedeur Sanders is not an NFL quarterback in this league. He's not a legitimate NFL quarterback. You saw it in his game. The game was not too fast. The game was not too big. And the entire world was watching that dude because everybody wants to see that dude fail.
Sure.
And you saw him go out there, take that
unfair.
pressure, and absolutely deliver. He went 17 of 23 for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. I'm not, again, preseason sucks. But given the context of what we were prepared for, if he'd have played bad, you know what the world would be saying right now. Oh, see? He ain't it. He sucks.
Imagine he was taken in the first 3 rounds.
Right. You know what I'm saying, though? Because of the pressure and expectations and everyone just chomping at the bit to see Shedeur fail, for him to go out there and do the complete opposite is a tell for me that this kid is what I think he is. So I say all that to say this. If the Browns know deep in their souls we are not we're not a playoff team. Joe Flacco's 40 fucking years old. Why are we playing him? You play the 40-year-old if you think you got a real shot at doing something. But if you know you don't, play the kid. Because what also is going on, I told you this, Trevor, before the show, the next 2 draft classes have some pretty promising quarterbacks. So the Browns are going to suck. That probably means they got a shot at one of those guys. And if Shedeur isn't it, guess what you got to do? You got to go and get one of those guys. And that's a beautiful thing about this league is you always get another chance. But if Shedeur is the guy, guess what you got to do? Build around him. He's a 5th-round pick that's making dick, and you can go and spend all that money on building around him for the next 4 years. So that's the advantage of going with the young kid, is you get a chance to know what you are and what you're not moving forward. Yep. Playing Joe Flacco does nothing for this team. So, yes, play Shedeur immediately.
Our guy Nicholas Poland on X said, just tuned in. Lance, where's your beard?
I lost it. I was coming down the stairs of the studio, and I
shit.
Yeah. Oh fuck! Where's my face? I don't have any arms either.
No, I trimmed it in his sleep actually.
Lost a bet. No. I for the first time in 10 years decided to really saw this bad boy off, dude. I almost got emotional right there. I missed it. No, I had to, man. It was just time. I felt like a change needed to happen. And kind of wanted to start it over. If you guys noticed throughout the years, when I first started this show, I had a beard down to my navel, and it just kind of worked its way back up. So never will ever be that again. But I might grow it out a little bit during the winter time. But yeah, this is just a comfortable look. I've dropped some lbs, so the 2 chins aren't smiling at you guys right now. So feel a little more confident about revealing more of my baby face. Because if I shaved all this off, I'd have to get carded just to do this damn show. You guys would be putting my a swear jar next to me every time I cussed. That's how young I look without a beard. But this is about where I'm comfortable right now, and I'm just gonna let it rock and let it ride for a little bit.
Absolutely. Crystal Lee, how many and who will make this team on the offensive line?
Okay, so this is kind of what I wanted to talk about, the wide receiver room, and why I don't want to keep 6 while Rashee is out. I want to keep 5 because I want to see the Chiefs keep as much depth at offensive line and defensive line as possible. Because you guys know that for every position you keep an X amount of guys, you have to sacrifice somewhere else. I'd like to see the Chiefs keep around 10 to 11 offensive linemen. That's what I'd like to see. Honestly, I would rather see 11. Biggest reason why. Although I'm so super impressed in Josh Simmons, he's still a rookie that's coming off a patellar tendon injury. Kingsley Suamataia is as confident as I am in him. We still need to see him be that guy. And, there's always the give and take of injuries. There's always things like that to consider. Now, the Chiefs have been mostly lucky at that. They haven't had to deal with a lot of injuries at offensive line over the last couple of years, but it could change. That could be the case this year. And I would like to see them have as many bodies to throw out there as possible. And I think 10 to 11 guys at least would be the number I would like to see for the offensive line. And when it comes to defensive line, Trevor, now I know that wasn't the question, but when it comes to just the interior side of things, we don't know how good this defensive line is yet. So give yourself as many guys to throw out there as possible to add depth to a position where more than likely Mike Gannon misses time. Or he maybe not, play as good because now he got his payday and maybe he's not as motivated. Who knows? Or Gelati doesn't hit. Or, Mike Pennell starts to show his age. Or Chris Jones is no longer a superstar, he's just a star player. There's scenarios. I'm just saying these could happen. I would like to see them have 9, 10, 11 guys on the defensive line as well. Get as much depth in there. We know Andy Reid, being the coach he is, loving and focusing so much on the interior side of things. I'd like to see that really be played into effect this year and have as many guys as possible in the interior side of things.
Our guy, Mark Hernandez, worst fans in the NFL.
Mark, I don't mean to deflect the question, but that's one of those anecdotal conversations.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's very anecdotal. Like, I had this experience, they suck, and other people are like, it was great, I didn't have a problem. Like, I will say the worst experiences I've ever had with fans is probably Eagles fans. I had not to give it too much praise, but I had a guy, an Eagles fan on Twitter one time Photoshop my face and handle on a severely racist tweet. And a lot of people believed it was me, and it really sucked to have to deal with that. So that's, again, anecdotal, though. It's something I experienced. Not everybody experienced that. Trevor and I have had to break up several fights during Raider-Chiefs games. Stupid shit like that. But I think that every fan base has some bad apples, but more times than not, there's a lot of good people out there, too. I've had great experiences with Vikings fans. I've had great experience with believe it or not, Chargers fans. I didn't know they existed.
All 5 of them.
All 11 of them came out to Kansas City, and we had a great time. So I've actually had way more good experiences with opposing fan bases, than bad. And I'll even take it a step further real quick. When I went to Denver earlier this year, every single Bronco fan I met had nothing but respectful things to say.
I wore my Chiefs gear. Most Bronco fans I've met are pretty damn cool.
They were cool as shit.
I
know that.
I know a lot of cool Raiders fans too.
Dude, they were cool. I had zero problems.
Yeah.
Everybody was cool. So it's probably because everyone was fucking high too, and I was loving it.
I will say though, I think across the league, I know a lot of people would pick the Chiefs fans right now just because when you're on top, that's kind of how it goes, and we tend to have obnoxious fans now, too, at this point.
Dude,
we've built that reputation. Look, and I get it. There's bad fans across all the league, but I will say, I think if they did a cross-a-league poll, I think they would probably be Eagles fans.
Yeah.
That would probably get the worst reviews. If I'm being honest. Just from my experience as an NFL fan, Eagles fans are, notorious for just being absolute assholes, bro. That's just is what it is. That's so I would probably say, and look, I don't have anything against the Eagles in general. I have a lot of respect for that program. Been a great program for a long time. A lot of great players that I've loved throughout my years of watching the NFL. But I think Eagles fans would probably be rated the worst.
Well, I know Bills fans are watching right now too because they have an obsession with me.
Yeah, Bills fans have been.
I get DMs. Trevor, I sent Trevor one of the DMs I got this week.
For a while. Yeah, Bills fans have been pretty salty for a while.
A few death threats too. It's all good.
A lot of great Bills fans I know too, though, man. A lot of cool people up there in that sphere as well. But a lot of them are. Just the salt is
adorable to me.
It's tangy.
I love that I matter that much. I mean, I've seen photoshops of my face on many sexually explicit pictures up there, and I think it's adorable that people take their time to hate me that much. Some kid from Kansas City that does a show. I love it. I think it's very
love
flattering. Yeah, please.
We do not care.
Like my Tom, we do not care.
We do not care. Mark Hernandez follows it up with, is Nagy gone next year?
No, unless he gets a head coaching job. Look, Matt Nagy is a good OC. I don't even know why I have to explain that. Matt Nagy is a good OC. The reason it all happened, it's just like the conversation about why Patrick Mahomes' numbers went down. Subsequently and coincidentally, it happened right as he dealt with all these injuries at the same time. Matt Nagy had to take over something that Eric Bieniemy never had a dream of dealing with or have a nightmare of dealing with. Eric Bieniemy, when he left, the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in their primes and a really good offensive line. When he left, Matt Nagy had to pick up all the pieces of dealing with losing Orlando Brown Jr., not having Tyreek Hill, having to adjust the offensive line with a rookie and Rashee Rice. All these other obstacles he had to overcome. Everybody wanted to shit on him. I remember they were even talking shit on the wide receiver coach. Have we heard anybody talk shit on him since? Those are easy targets. And let's be real. Anybody that knows how things go here in Kansas City knows this is Andy Reid's offense. He's the one running the show. The OC is a guy that's kind of helping get the game plan prepared throughout the week. He's not the one sitting there every week calling the plays. I know Andy has relinquished that at times, but more times than not, it is Andy that is running the show on offense. And I just wish that people would give Nagy some credit because, as I recall, Trevor, I don't know many coaches that could take a quarterback as bad as Mitchell Trubisky to the playoffs multiple times and have a winning record with Mitchell Trubisky. I don't know many coaches that could pull that off. Man, won Coach of the Year.
Bro, I love Matt Nagy. I don't get it. And I think he's actually really good in like pressers and answering questions and stuff. He's a well-spoken guy.
I think he's a head coach.
Well, he's already been so.
Exactly.
You just said like
he's won Coach of the Year.
The best out of Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky is a jag. So you know what I mean. I don't see him going anywhere. No. He could definitely get a head coach position.
That's the only way. That's the only way.
But yeah, he's got a good marriage with Andy Reid though. I think our offensive coordinators are basically guys that can relay messages and maybe give and put an input on maybe reminding Andy of a certain situational call that might be a better play that he might have been thinking. Maybe just kind of hash thoughts out together in the moments.
Yep.
Or just like honestly, just helping remind Andy of certain situational football things that Andy struggled with, like clock management, things like that. Maybe call a timeout here, blah blah blah, or maybe this audible instead of that one. That's really what our offensive coordinators have been.
Right.
Because Andy Reid, like you said, this is his offense.
Right.
So I don't see, outside of getting another head coach position, which he would be deserving of, seeing that we've seen other head coaches that are current head coaches right now that don't deserve that even more than Nagy does. If he gets another job, that'd be awesome. But I have no problem keeping him here in Kansas City, man. Love the guy. Cell 32 Alt. Is Rashee Rice playing tonight?
No, I don't think he'll. I mean, he might be on the field.
He might get some snaps.
But it's like play, probably not. I would imagine that he, at best, is on the field for 5 to 10 snaps at best.
Yeah. Nicholas Poland, what do you expect from the new linemen such as Moore and Simmons tonight?
Moore is going to be the one I'm paying attention to. I don't know how much Simmons is going to actually play. I mean, Andy might surprise us and go full tilt and play him a bunch. I'm not expecting that though. I think that they're still trying to ease him in to things and not have him go 35, 40 snaps tonight. I think he'll probably play with Patrick Mahomes, and that'll be it. So Moore, I bet I would put a wager on it that Moore probably plays 35 to 45 snaps tonight, and they're going to probably move him around. You'll see him probably play guard and tackle tonight.
I think we're starting to get a pretty good idea who our starters are. I think a lot of this preseason stuff is going to be weighing out our depth.
Yeah, exactly.
Whose strengths are what at what positions, because we do have some guys that are kind of rotational guys that can fulfill different spots. We kind of want to see, for depth purposes, if there are injuries along the way, whose strengths are what to fill in certain roles. I think that's the main thing. I think we'll see a lot of Kingsley, though. I do think Kingsley will get a lot of run, in my opinion. Noah John Marshall, this is the last question, by the way, as far as right now. This has been a fantastic show. Speak it. If there's time, Chiefs and Royals stadium predictions resolution.
I stand by what I've told you guys all along. The Kansas City Royals, I believe they will figure out a way to have them in downtown Kansas City, Missouri. I know that there's a lot of attraction right now over on the Knoll area and on the Overland Park area for the Royals. That could still very much happen. If I'm a betting man, though, I think they figured out a way to get it in downtown. It's the best idea for a baseball park. It's a revenue builder, a revenue boomer, quite frankly, and I think that's what's ultimately going to happen. And I've told you guys, and I'll tell you again, I think I'm very confident that Kansas City Chiefs will be playing on the Kansas City, Kansas side. I think it'll be somewhere either at the Legends or right outside of Bonner Springs. There's a lot of land out there, a lot of untapped potential, built-in amenities that the Chiefs have, and the Star Bonds is the biggest attraction of it all. It pays for 70% of the stadium up front. And I think that when it comes to money being spent, and it's being spent by somebody other than you as the owner, that's always an attractive thing, especially when a dome is considered in the mix. And I believe that's what Clark wants. I believe that Kansas City, Kansas is going to provide that for him, and they're going to get a dome here in Kansas City. And I think, quite frankly, every stadium should have a dome, because I think that the elements shouldn't play a factor in games. I think it should come down to what the players do and don't. That's my stance on it. But I do believe that it will be in Kansas. I think that at the end of this year, we will have a for sure confirmation of that, because they moved the Starbond window further back for the Chiefs. I don't think that Kansas does that unless they were very confident that something was in legitimate works and that they were going to get something done. I think they would have said, okay, well, we're just going to step back because you guys are being ridiculous and we can't get anything done with you guys. For them to extend that star bond offer, I think is going to get it done. And I think by Christmas, we're going to know where the Chiefs play next, and it will be over on the Kansas side.
Yay. That's all the questions, man.
Great questions, guys. Awesome questions. Very in-depth. That was a full hour of questions. I mean, I'll take that every week.
Sunday, bro. It was active today.
Great stuff, guys.
Appreciate
keep that
you guys.
coming every single week. We'd love that if you guys would keep pumping in the questions because it makes the show what it is, and we appreciate you guys. Go to YouTube if you guys would be so kind. Go to the Spoken Podcast and hit subscribe, comment. Comment's the most important one because we want you guys to be a part of the show. But there's a ton of buttons for you guys to hit on that. We would appreciate if you hit all of them. Trevor, we have one more order of business to get to. What is it called? Hold this L. Each and every episode, we finish off every single series L's. I finally butchered it. We finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports, whether those are L's that are friendly or not so friendly L's in the world of sports. We promise you, who's ever holding those L's in the world of sports and deserve those L's in the world of sports. Trevor Twiddle, who's holding the L for you this week?
Listen, man, now that we got some actual football going and some preseason stuff going, I guess start kind of getting an idea of what some of these teams' identities might be. And my L is going to go to the Indianapolis Colts right now, man. And I know you're a big A-Rich guy. I know you're holding out your hopes for him and what he could be. I like him too. I want to see him become something. But I just don't. I from what I've seen, man, over his career so far, and what I just saw out in this first preseason game, not even being able to identify a unblocked rusher and adjust and get your calls right, and just took an absolute bulldoze of a hit that was completely avoidable, and while dislocating his pinky, which he's fine. I think he's going to be practicing tomorrow on Monday. He should be okay. He gets hurt, knocked out of the game on the first series of his first preseason game, and there's already a quarterback battle going on. Supposedly, I still think Anthony Richardson is the guy, obviously, and then they bring in the guy that they paid to come in and be the backup, and Daniel Jones, and he looked even worse. The Colts, man, this has been an ongoing thing for a few seasons now where they just cannot figure out a competent quarterback situation. And it just doesn't look like that's going to change at all this year. And it's very unfortunate because I believe in Todd Monken. I believe in the coaching situation that's going on over there. They have an extremely talented roster. You know, you got Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Adonai Mitchell. They just drafted that one stud tight end. They got one of the best running backs in football, Jonathan Taylor. A good offensive line, a good defensive line. It's really coming down to just terrible quarterback play. And it sucks, man, because I love the athlete that Anthony Richardson is. I just don't know if he has it up here. I'm really starting to question that a lot. I mean, he's just certain things. And then him already dealing with, granted, I know he's okay. He's got a dislocated pinky, and he's no significant damage there. But from what I saw just in the short and from what I saw last year with him, let alone him tapping himself out of a game in the middle of a game on an important drive. There's a lot of things they need to figure out over there, man. This continues to be a significant problem for them just figuring out because that's too good of a team, too good of a coach to struggle at this position for this long now and trying to figure this out.
I think you meant Shane Steichen, though, didn't you?
Or Shane Steichen, yeah Todd Monken. Shane Steichen, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Shane Steichen, who I respect a lot. Yeah. I like him as a younger coach in this league, and I like the way he kind of delivers himself, and his system has been proven to be successful everywhere he's gone except right now. So he's got to figure out this quarterback situation. But as of right now, it does not look good. And I feel like this roster is far too good for this team to probably be a bad team again this year, unfortunately. So for that, Indianapolis Colts, it's going to be another long year for y'all fans. Sorry, but it's just true. Do me a solid favor and
hold this L. Sticking in the NFL side of things, I just, kind of touched on how I was so, I wasn't overly shocked, but just happy to see Shedeur Sanders kind of silence the critics at least for 1 week. I know it's a preseason game, but I know they were waiting. They were just chomping at the bit. And I think there are people out there that, try to relay messages in the right way, and I think they have good hearts a lot of times, but I think that they don't really know how to execute, how to say things and how to do things correctly, and it kind of blows up in their face. And I think sometimes, and I don't know him, I've talked to him before, he seems like a really nice guy. I've had, conversations with him in the past. Always really nice, but I think sometimes he kind of puts his foot in his mouth, and it's Robert Griffin III. So last night, he tweets out, and we can put that first one up there. Many thought Shedeur Sanders would fail after being thrown to the Wolves as the starter with minimal first-team reps against the Carolina Panthers starters. But God saw fit that Shedeur Sanders would come back leading the pack. Faith and hard work always pay off. Perfect timing. Now, when you read that, you're like, oh, okay, that's cool for him to say that. I mean, you're a religious person. You think that God has some sort of influence on how the games go. Whatever. Okay, cool. Very innocent, light thing to say, and it sounds very supportive. But then when you think about who was it, because the question's going to be asked, well, who was saying that he was being set up for failure? Well, that would have been also Robert Griffin III. Let's go ahead and look at the tweet that was put out just a couple of days ago. Shedeur Sanders is being set up to fail in Cleveland, but God's got him showing out even with limited reps. So I'm just genuinely confused. Maybe someone who is religious can explain this to me about what did God do in all this again? Because he's being set up for failure, but then he did really good because God had him. And I'm trying to piece it together because this is the same exact source that's saying two completely different things and put God in the middle of both of them. Again, I'm not trying to diss anybody. I'm not trying to diss religion. Believe what you want. But which one again did God? Where did? I don't even know where. I feel like the coach Trevor on was the water boy. I don't know where I am.
Well, you think God went on to get drafted in the first round?
I'm just saying, like, what are we doing here, RG? Like, I want to back you up so bad here because I actually agree with like the whole like tearing down of Shedeur Sanders, how ridiculous it is.
Yeah.
But you literally played both sides of this one, buddy. I don't understand where you even stand on this.
He's hedging his takes.
Like, literally, like, I don't understand you at all, buddy.
Yeah.
And he was getting slaughtered, of course, on Twitter for this one. I'm not trying to slaughter him, but maybe next time, buddy, don't set yourself up for failure by saying something this double jointed, if you will. I don't really know what direction we're going with this one, Robert. But in the meantime, if you do me a solid, buddy, you can go ahead and hold this out. We appreciate it. Thanks, man, because that didn't make any fucking sense. Yeah. So God bless you, though, regardless. And God bless all of you guys, in the grand scheme of things.
God bless you all.
God bless you guys. The Lord just give you riches and abundance. We appreciate all you guys for being so abundantly awesome to us here at The Spoken because
we're not set up to fail over here.
Yeah, we don't do that to you guys. I never say that stuff about you guys. I believe that you're set up for success, God damn it. I'm sorry. Didn't mean that one. But nevertheless, we appreciate every single one of you guys that have contributed to the show today. Or even if you just like to watch and listen, man, we appreciate you guys as well, just as much. We have so many people. I can't even tell you guys. I have friends in Denver. Shout out to my one of my dearest friends, Sarah, who's in Denver, who watches every single show and gives me feedback. And I have so many other people that give me feedback on what we do here. And it means so much. You guys don't even have to contribute to the show as it's going. I literally have Shaggy Shane every week texting me during the show. That's the kind of support I love and know that we have something cool here that people actually give a fuck about. Because if you guys didn't care, you guys wouldn't be here every single week. We have these same people every single week. We have new people every single week. That tells me something's going on here, man. And it means the world to me. You guys are paying attention. You guys want to be a part of it. And cannot thank you enough, man. I mean, I have my brother here every single week doing this alongside me. That's like the coolest thing you could ever ask for. So I never take it lightly. I always appreciate it. And no matter how tough life gets or how nonsensical the world is sometimes, we have this. And this is something that I definitely I don't take lightly in that fact as well, because in a world of just complete insanity, sometimes coming over here and just talking about stuff that makes sense to you can make things a lot better. And I hope that is what this is to you guys every single time, that you feel better after a show like this. Because I know I do. My weekend always just takes off after every single episode. No matter how rough things get, I always feel better after doing this. And I hope it's the same for you guys. So in that, after my therapy session right there, for Trevor Twidwell, for the great Clay Windler that puts all this together, and for every single one of you guys, I definitely appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Lance Twidwell. Episode 322 of the Spoken Podcast is done, finished, and finito. And until we're back here in 1 week's time to talk about whatever the hell's going on in the world of sports for episode 323, we out of this bitch.
Later.